Alrighty. See what's going on here. See what's going on here. I love the many of the things. The many of the things. Hey, dibba-dibba-doo. A small update on the Lego stuff that I'll cover at some point. It's only like a 3-minute video. They're not being found guilty. McSkittles. Frankly, look, whether or not you land left or right, you have to understand Trump is kind of throwing a weird-ass temper tantrum here about this reflecting pool, because a reflecting pool has been an issue that has plagued presidents for decades. Obama dealt with algae in the reflecting pool. So did Biden. So did Bush. So did Clinton. All of the presidents have dealt with issues with this reflecting pool. He's the only one literally going crazy, insane, that there are people fucking sabotaging him. No, dude, it's you made it wrong. You made a bad call with your contractor. It's fine. It happens to the best of us. Also, I will say driving an entire motorcade with multiple SUVs that weigh 10,000 plus pounds, as well as all the other shit across the entirety of the reflecting pool, probably isn't going to do good for the liner either. Alright, let's do this.
Mom, we sold the pod! Look at all the money we have!
My goodness, but that's so wonderful, Annie.
He has been freed.
What?
You're no longer a slave.
Did you hear that?
Will you take him with you?
You mean I get to go with you on your starship?
That's right.
Yippee! What about Mom? Is she free too?
I tried to free your mother, Anakin, but Watto wouldn't have it.
Oh, well, how did you free me?
I bet the pod racer against your freedom, should you have won the race.
Why not both me and my mom's freedom?
Watto said no pod was worth 2 slaves. We used a chance cube to decide which of you would be freed.
Oh, so there was a chance you'd take my mom and leave me alone on Tatooine with no parental supervision?
No, I used the Force and moved the chance cube to select you.
If you were just gonna cheat at gambling the whole time, why didn't you sweeten the pot with one of your droids or something and get us both out?
Oh, wow. Oh yeah, that would have been smart. I just caved immediately to only freeing one of you, without a second thought.
Jeez, you Jedi kinda suck.
Don't stereotype, Anakin. We're not all like this. Are you coming with me to be a Jedi or not?
Well, now, I don't know.
Well, you don't have much time to decide. Obi-Wan and Padme are already
Bye, Mom.
waiting for us at the ship. Well, good luck then.
The other day I was going to my local Starbucks, and when I got to the till, the barista not only had the audacity to be a woman, derogatory, but also talk to me. This is unacceptable. So in no uncertain terms, I screamed, "Excuse me, whore! I'm married! Do not flirt with me!" As I proceeded to show her my phone wallpaper and wallet photos, which were both of my live fallen shadow, and then I proceeded to growl at her until the police arrived to escort me out. So how was you guys' days?
And now, the nations of the world who hate Johnny, presented by Eva. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman. Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Portugal, France, England, Denmark and Spain. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana. Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Niger, Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, and Nina, Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Majorca, Cayman, Montana, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan. Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fabulous, fantastic Tuesday? We have a good number of videos to be reacting to today, but first let's say hi to all the people who have been chatting thus far, including Big Daddy Goblin 388, Digita Ita, Larohime, Spurkers, Techwaner, Mixkittles, Death the Motherfucking Goat, Festiva, Hadrix, Francis Karma. Okay, let's fucking try and properly talk today without getting tongue twisted. Thank you. Nerdy Texan Accountant Grigori. James Craig 7164, how's it going? Enkero, how's it going? Shiojo, Mr. Monkey. Other people, I'm sure. Spooky Shoe. My day has been doing pretty well, that's good to hear. So not only do we have a number of things to be reacting to today, including some stuff that it was hot when it came out, and I just decided to kind of wait until feelings calmed down just a little bit, and luckily videos were released and stuff that kind of make it a little bit more of a decide for yourself rather than just listen to what people keep trying to tell you. So we have that. It's regarding the Karmelo art, the comment, God, okay, here we go. Ahem. The Carmelo Anthony case, there we go. So we have that. We also have a fast facts on the Johnny Somali final court date, new evidence and the appeal verdict. Oh, the King of Daleks, thank you so much for the 10. I heard you're from California. I hope they find a cure. Well, first of all, I mean, like, if you read my lore, I'm from the multiverse, right? I'm a D&D snow elf vampire. You know, I'm a wolf. I'm a monk. Fey Lost warlock multi-class. So, like, I mean, like, my mana channel comes in through California. But, like, that doesn't mean that I myself am currently in California. I'm streaming to you live from Icewind Dale. Wait, what I didn't mean to do that. Oh, wait. And coming to you live from Icewind Dale, it's Elfpire. Alright. Let's see here. So, first one we are watching is going to be from NateTheLawyer. And it is titled, Quick Drops Bombshell Video Exposing the Karmelo Anthony Self-Defense Lie. It's from NateTheLawyer, like I said, and it was posted 3 days ago. The ley lines in Cali are blocked by protesters. Now look, the protesters tried to block the ley lines in California, but when pure magic flows through your body and you're not prepared for it, it has a tendency to make living tissue explode. So there were protesters on the ley lines. There's not protesters on the ley lines anymore. Anyway. Yeah. So let us go ahead and get into this first video. Let me go ahead and get everything set up. Oh, that looks like it's perfect. Eva channels all the cold out of California, so that's why it's always on fire. It's not like super on fire right now though, right? Well, maybe it is and I'm just not aware of where it's on fire, I don't know. Anyway, let's turn off the background music. Let us activate the screen share so you guys can see. And let us see what NateTheLawyer has to say, coupled with this new court release of apparent security cam footage, it looks like.
All right, so the video of the Karmelo Anthony saga has been released. So now we get to see what they saw in the courtroom. Now, before we get to that video, I want you guys to hear how some of the influencers online were describing what they purported to say was on this video.
The hypocrisy is stacked.
Oh, no. Look. I didn't cover any of the Karmelo Anthony case. I kind of had said, like, I think I reported initially on it. I said, I went over what's known as proportionality when it comes to self-defense. I let people know about what's known as imperfect self-defense, which is a form of self-defense in Texas. And I kind of let everyone know how, from the get-go, Karmelo Anthony has a very weak self-defense position. That's what I said. And I also said that I probably wouldn't cover this again until after we have a verdict. We now have a verdict, which means that we can now cover this. But I imagine what you're going to hear is a lot of people are going to kind of be talking out of their ass before this footage release and being like, oh no, this is total self-defense. These people jumped this poor man and he had no choice but to pull a knife out from his backpack and stab somebody in the chest, right? Like I said, proportionality exists and you cannot meet a subbing match with a knife. That you just can't. I'm sorry. There's a chemical plant on fire in LA. Another one? Oh my god, why? Oh god. You know, I'm glad I'm just up far north enough I don't have to worry about LA shenanigans.
They did not release the video publicly because they know
that's normal.
It would exonerate Karmelo Anthony.
No,
there was video
that's not
played of the incident inside of the courtroom.
Who is this guy? I hate this so much. If they didn't release video that would exonerate Karmelo Anthony. Well, here's the problem with that. Even if they didn't release this video, which we end up knowing that they did, this video was played in front of the jury that decided his fate. So, the release of this video would not exonerate anybody because it didn't exonerate him when it was played in front of the jury that decided his fate in the first place.
Showed Austin to be the aggressor, Austin confronting Karmelo, Austin pushing Karmelo, Austin then getting stuck by Karmelo. But it also showed Austin's brother, Hunter, being at the center of the fight. He also put hands on Karmelo, and so did some of their other friends. Witnesses said that at least 5, in fact, not just witnesses, but it's also on video, at least 5 of them jumped Karmelo. The witness never mentioned jumping Karmelo. Other witnesses for Austin never mentioned jumping Karmelo. They jumped him.
Now, for those of you who don't know, that's Willie D Live. He has one.
Thank you. Thank you for... Okay, thank you, Nate. I'm like, who the hell is this guy that just... Like, here's the thing, right? Nate just fucking laid down the groundwork for us, right? He just said that this is before the court released the footage that was shown to the jury, which means that this guy knows that this footage exists. But he hasn't seen this footage. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's just saying this is what happened with no fucking, like reference or point of orientation that he could use to actually, be credible as a source of reporting. Yeah, he's just absolutely going conspiracy theory. So I'm like, who the hell is this? So, Willie D Live. Well, I wonder what Willie D Live has to say now that we have the footage.
1.1 million subscribers on YouTube. Now, next is the amazing Lucas. He's going to describe what he believes is on that video.
Okay.
And I also have questions. I don't know how the defense did not play that video. Because when you see that video, it was self-defense.
That video apparently wasn't played in court. Now you want to tell me why a piece of evidence.
How do you guys know if that video or not was played in court? I'm pretty sure cameras weren't allowed in this courtroom, right?
That would prove your client's innocence, that would prove your client's self-defense, that you wouldn't play that in court, you have to explain to me. I ain't got the answers, okay?
I mean, look, speaking as someone who has been in front of a judge and has been in court, there could be a number of reasons why a video might not be played, but usually that involves it going against some kind of rules of evidence that the judge has already set up. It's prejudicial to one side or the other in a way that's beyond unfair. If it's just a video showing the deed being done, then there's no prejudice there. But if it's like it depends on on how things are framed and everything like that. It's like, yeah, well, this footage that we have is from a cell phone, and the person screaming racist slurs the whole time, and we can't really see what's going on. But the person is saying that Karmelo Anthony did this thing, but we don't really get to see it in the actual video itself. That really wouldn't be allowed to be seen because we don't actually get to see the facts of the case before us. But video that just plainly shows what happens, well, you can identify every party involved. I'm sorry, that's gonna get through. That's just gonna get through.
Riddle me that one, Batman. It's not making any sense. It's not making any sense. We've had multiple people say that clearly this seems to be self-defense based off of what they saw. Unless, like I said, unless you're throwing him under the bus.
I have to pause the amazing Lucas here for a second because there's another explanation. They could just be lying.
You're feeding him to the wolves. And that's what it seems to be the case.
So now we get to watch the video and see if the amazing Lucas and Willie D and all of these people who are telling us what's on the video is correct. But before we get to the video,
the footage was made public by the church, as we knew it was. And yeah, it was played in court. I don't know why these... I had already made this question, regarding these clips, but I'm like, how do these people know what was and what wasn't shown in court, given they were not in court?
More video to play. See, when it was found out that the video was going to be released to the public since the trial was over, some people started changing their story about what was on that.
I bet they did. Oh no, the video's gonna be released? Oh well, you know, okay. Meet my friend Mr. Backpedal.
Video. For instance, here's Karmelo Anthony's spokesperson who's doing an interview with someone else who was in the courtroom and actually saw the video. And they've changed their tune a little bit. Listen to what they're saying now.
What we saw inside the courtroom was a grainy, hard to see video, but there was a lot of people outside the courtroom who said that they went to ISD and watched the footage and said that it was clear, and they said that they saw more than what we were shown. Can you speak on that?
Well, so Nick, you know I wasn't in there, right? But I can tell you I did see the video at Frisco ISD. And the video that at Frisco ISD, it's not like you can sit there and look at the pimple on someone's face, but you can identify what's there, right? In front of you.
Yeah.
And so what has been described to me, you know, is like, no, you could at least kind of know and count how many people right there. You know
well,
what
we can count how many bodies, but we can't see like faces. You know what I mean? Like we could see like, okay, somebody.
Oh my God! Listen to that fucking coat. Listen to that freaking coat. That is crazy amounts of coat, chat. Did you hear that? Did you actually hear that? So, this guy right here on the right, he's an actual spokesperson for Karmelo Anthony, for the legal team and everything, like, for the defense, right? He is saying that in the video, yeah, it's not HD, you can't make out pimples on the skin, but you can identify who's who, who's where, and what's happening, right? How many people there are. Oh, well, but you can't see, like, specific faces, right? Shut up. Just shut up. Like, you are reaching so hard at that point.
They sit right there, somebody sit right there, but we couldn't see, like, Karmelo in Austin's face, or, you know what I mean? It just was, like, kids there.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying that they were able to see him getting jumped. I couldn't see that. So I was wondering if you guys saw something different.
No, it's not I didn't see that with that video. No. I didn't see him. I didn't see him getting jumped. Oh, you know what I mean? Like I saw movement over there. I saw that there was multiple people around him, but I didn't see he was getting, you know what I mean, like the altercation. No.
Now, it's pretty incredible because this is Karmelo Anthony's spokesperson, and he's saying the exact opposite of what all these advocates are outside saying, that the video's clear, he was getting jumped, how much detail they can see.
Because
he's saying, I saw it at the school district. No, this is someone Nick at night.
What happened? Look, it was a tragedy. It shouldn't have happened. But what happened was quite literal high school fucking sports drama bullshit. A shoving match ensued, and Karmelo decided to escalate from there. And that's on Karmelo.
Who's saying, I saw it in the courtroom. That's not true. And now, again, they know this video is eventually going to come out. So they are making sure that their credibility is being saved. But now we get to judge all this. Who's telling the truth? Because, again, this is not Metcalf versus the Anthonys. These are everyone on the Anthony side are giving conflicting accounts of what's on that video. So let's watch it and see who's telling the truth.
All right.
Now, before we get into the video, here's a quick message from this video sponsor, ZocDoc. Okay.
Doc for sponsoring this message.
All right, so now let's go over the video that was presented in the Karmelo Anthony murder trial. All right, so here's the video at the beginning. So this is a camera at the entrance. We see Metcalf, the person who unfortunately is going to lose their life, entering the park. So now we go to this wide shot of the field, and if you can see right here, that little dugout place, when it started raining, Carmelo Anthony and his team ran in there, but they were told by officials they had to leave out of there. So we're going to see them now leave out of that area. But as you can see, it's not raining hard. It may be a light drizzle, but it's not raining as hard as some people were making it seem. And you see these other tents right next to that dugout area too. They're highlighting Carmelo Anthony coming out of the dugout because officials told him and that team they couldn't be in there. So that's where you see everybody leaving out. Now, he passes one tent. He passes a second tent.
Yeah.
And now we're going to split to another camera angle. Now, I had to pause the video right here because all the commotion happens under the tent and we're zoomed out pretty far. So I'm going to zoom in as close as we can so we can see what's happening in that tent. Because as of right now, Carmelo Anthony's in that tent and is being approached by the other boys asking him to leave. Here it is zoomed in as...
Yeah, here's the thing. There's a lot of people who want to make this about race, but the fact is, the issue is... he stabbed a kid on a track meet with 10 witnesses. Their races have nothing to do. I know a lot of people have been wanting to make it about race. But let's be real. A kid stabbed another kid at a high school track meet, and that should have never happened.
Close as possible. Now, Carmelo Anthony's already there, and they're asking him to leave, and they're having a conversation. Now, he's not really surrounded, but... remember, there were other teams already in there when he came to sat down. Now, there's no commotion. It seems like everybody's just talking. You really can't distinguish who's who at this particular point in time. So all those people are saying it's clear that it's self-defense. I just don't see that here. You see some movement in the background. You really can't tell who's who, but we know for a fact Carmelo Anthony is back there sitting down and they're asking him to leave. Now, remember, witnesses said they asked him to leave about 15 times during this particular point in time. So I don't know what's going on. Other teams are now coming into view, looking to see what's happening.
Yeah.
And again, there's not you don't see a struggle. You don't see any...
No, you would see a lot of animation from this group if there was... look, if 5 people or 4 people or even 3 people suddenly started jumping a guy, I'm pretty sure we would see it and we would see the commotion under the tent, regardless of whether or not it's difficult to make out individuals.
Crazy movements. It just seems like they're all talking, trying to get this guy to leave.
Yeah.
Again, if you're looking at this, it doesn't look like there's any struggle or anything that's happening under the tent.
Not yet, anyway.
It looks like they're continuing to have some type of dialogue. There's a couple of people moving back there, but doesn't seem like anybody's surrounded. Doesn't seem like there's any pushing or shoving going on. Now, at this moment, you can see a push. You can literally see a push, and you can see Carmelo Anthony, what looks like a push, but actually stabs the kid, and then he exits the tent. Now, they're going to highlight him here, and he's going to run.
Are you kidding me? That was the whole thing. It was a single exchange. A single exchange, and a kid is dead.
You can literally see a push, and you can see Carmelo Anthony, what looks like a push, but actually stabs
there's another
the kid,
push, and then
he exits
oh my
the tent.
God.
Now, they're going to highlight him here, and he's going to run away.
Yeah, of course he's going to run away. He just stabbed somebody.
So now,
look at
you've seen the video.
Going.
These people were claiming that Carmelo Anthony was jumped, and they can see it clearly. It was obvious, right? Remember that?
Not see
I remember the black guy who was talking about, oh yeah, they pulled him and all this, and none of that came out in court. So I automatically dismiss it as like, hey, this person's lying. He's a liar. I don't know, like people lie. I don't know why they would lie about this, but it is what it is.
I love the irony here because he's right. They were obviously lying. But let's hear it out.
Then we have other people who are verifying what they saw.
Hello, everybody. I'm an advocate for Carmelo Anthony.
So as soon as you hear I'm an advocate for Carmelo Anthony, you know this person's account is going to be a little suspect. But she could be telling the truth. So let's hear her full account.
I mean, was she there? Because if she wasn't there, then I don't care what you're an advocate for. I don't believe you.
Because again, you've just watched the video, and let's see if what she says aligns with the video.
Yeah,
My name is T, and when I went to see the video, they ask if you want to see it from either 2 minutes before the stabbing or 11 minutes before. So I chose 11 minutes. From the moment she pressed play, Karmelo Anthony was already sitting up underneath that canopy. And he was sitting there for at least 8 to 9.5 minutes. You see, well, I saw a boy in a black hoodie go over to him first, and then they left out of the tent, and then you see coming across the field was another 6 boys. When they got...
Wait, what? Across the field? Dying in actors meet. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh my god, we're reaching peak levels of stupidity here.
Got to the bleachers, one, he went out of frame, and the other one sat at the bottom. But the remaining 4, they went directly to Karmelo Anthony, and like T said before, it was a brief conversation, and then all you see is commotion. And we know from the interviews that Hunter did, we know that Hunter was, in fact, up underneath that tent. The next thing you see, you can see Karmelo in the midst of them assaulting him. You can see Karmelo trying to back out, but he gets pulled back forward.
He didn't.
The next thing you see...
Oh man, girl, you didn't even watch the same. You're lying out your teeth. You're literally lying out your teeth. We have it on video. The judge has released it, and nothing of what you're saying is remotely lining up with what we've seen. Whether or not you saw it from 11 minutes before or 2 minutes before, your description of the actual altercation is not reflective of reality.
See is Karmelo, he comes shooting out the back.
Yeah, this is crazy mental gymnastics. This is mental gymnastics of which the likes I've never seen before. Like, this girl has 20 dicks in her mentals.
But he's still not standing. And he had to, like, kind of crab crawl backwards.
Oh, yeah, he's up standing, huh? I see he's running away, you liar.
And he had to, like, jerk away from them because they still had a hold of his hoodie. He goes up a couple bleachers, and he's looking around for which way to go. He runs diagonally down the bleachers, and then he falls. At the time of him falling, that's when I noticed another 3 boys coming down the bleachers chasing after him. But once Karmelo got up, he took off. You didn't see him for the rest of the video.
Now, this is a master class in lying, because what you do is you sprinkle your lies in with the truth. So it's harder to dissect.
Well, I mean, the problem is you can't, like, oh yeah, but the last part is true. No, you have to, the truth has to be sprinkled in, not like, oh, there's an entire part she's clearly lying about, but she told the truth about the end, so she must be not lying, right? No, that's not how this works.
Because as soon as you say she's lying about what she observed, other people will say, well, no, he did run diagonally down the bleachers, which just happens to be true. But the lies that she wove into it makes her account totally fraudulent. Now, compare what she just said to other Karmelo Anthony advocates who were in the courtroom and...
Yeah, no, she can go on television and she can lie about what she saw. There's nothing really that's gonna get her in trouble for that. At least in this situation. You know, other situations you might have to worry about defamation, false light, or stuff like that. But at least for here, yeah, I would say, yeah, even though it's a fucking bull-faced lie, it's protected by the First Amendment.
Saw the video themselves.
What we saw inside the courtroom was a grainy, hard to see video, but there was a lot of people outside the courtroom.
It's not like you can sit there and look at the pimple on someone's face, but you can identify what's there, right? In front of you.
Yeah.
And so what has been described to me.
And no one jumped anybody from what I saw. There was a shoving match and then he ran. And it turns out the shove that Karmelo Anthony returned was a stabbing, and that's the problem.
You know, it's like, no, you could at least kind of know and count how many people right there. You know what I
can count how many bodies, but we can't see like faces. You know what I mean? Like we could see like, okay, somebody sitting right there, somebody sitting right there, but we couldn't see like Karmelo in Austin's face, or you know what I mean? It just was like kids there.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying that they were able to see him getting jumped. I couldn't see that. So I was wondering if you guys saw something different.
No. It's not. I didn't see that with that video. No.
So,
yeah, no,
Carmelo Anthony supporters on both sides telling very different stories. And I'll say this, now you know who you can trust. Now you know whose story lines up with the evidence. And it also exposes how these rage baiters work. They take pieces of the truth and then splash it with these extra details that are obviously not there. And remember, Carmelo Anthony's camp was saying, we can't believe he was convicted because the video clearly shows it was self-defense. It clearly shows he was being jumped. It clearly shows that he was being pulled back in even when he was trying to escape. And now that you've seen the video, you know all of that are lies. They were just lying to you. And no matter what I present in this video, there's going to be a contingent of people who are going to believe the lies over the absolute truth. Why? Because they want to believe the lies. Carmelo Anthony is a convicted murderer. And he's a convicted murderer because he killed someone in cold blood for touching his shoulder, for the push you saw on this video. Period. End of story. Now watching it, I think 35 years was justified. I think you can justify this 35-year sentence. Then eventually somebody said, hey, it's time to go, and pushed him to say, get out of here, and he stabbed them to death. That gets you 35 years in prison. Now, I will say, earlier I was advocating that this could be manslaughter because it could be a heat of passion. But now after physically seeing the video,
the video,
this kid's a murderer and he got what he deserved. Tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section. As always, my name is NateTheLawyer. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I'm so confused.
All right, so for those of you who have stayed with me to the end of this video, here is the full 10 minutes that was released by the school district. So I'm just going to play it. It has no sound to it, but I want you to be able to judge it for yourself without my commentary. So if you waited to the end of the video and you're at this particular point and you want to see it, just...
And I'll leave this up for my chat. Do we want to watch the 10 minutes? Or are we pretty confident in what was reported that we know what happened? I'm going to leave that up to my chat. I mean, I think NateTheLawyer saw the pertinent parts of the video. So I'm okay with skipping this part of the video and moving on to the next one. But I think we all know what happened. We all saw what happened. Now we're pretty sure now. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Fine, either I've already watched the full 10. Nope. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't use knives. I use short swords. Alright, so we are moving on with some more Lawtism, some more Lawtube, so to speak, and this time it's Legal Mindset, who, by the way, incredibly based, as you see, Legal Mindset has 420 subscribers, well, 420,000, and I am saving this and I am sending it to him, because it's very important that you mark out whenever you see it 420. Yeah, he did it, chat. He did it, chat. But this one is called Johnny Somali's Final Court Date. New Evidence and the Appeal Verdict. I believe it's like the 26th or 27th. We're gonna see. But I do know that we are rapidly approaching the final chapter in regards to Johnny Somali and his interactions with the Korean court system. Also, it looks like our cabbages are gonna start shipping out in September, I think.
Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, is in his final day in court. We're going to get into that today on The Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, who's been tracking the Johnny Somali case from really beginning to end. And we're about at that point here in this stage where things are coming to a close. As a quick recap, Johnny Somali was sentenced earlier this year to 6 months with labor, in addition to being required to register on the offender list in Korea, having his phones confiscated from him, and is currently sitting in the Seoul Nambu Detention Center pending his appeal. He's now on an appeal, aka a second trial. So what we're
I'm not gonna lie, some of those freaking look at some of that. Look at that footage, that frame right there. That frame right there tells you everything you need to know about whether or not Johnny is enjoying his time in Korean prison. Well, I think he's in basically he's in holding, so he's basically in he's in Korean jail, not Korean prison. But after his appeal, at least so far, we know he has to do at least 6 months. So we'll have to see what happens.
Appeal. He's now on an appeal, aka a second trial. So what we're having right now is this second trial. Now, before we get into all the details here and what's going on with the second trial, I have a very important message. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their apps could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable of over $1,000. Now that
those are the guys, are they? I'm trying to remember who came out with the commercials for mesothelioma.
that's done, back to a business. So looking at Johnny Somali's case.
Hey, look, everyone does them. I skip ahead. NateTheLawyer did his. Legal Mindset's done his. Eventually, I get big enough, you're gonna hear me do sponsor spots. You know, it doesn't happen right now, I'm not super big. But at a certain point, I'm sure I will have sponsored sections in videos and stuff.
One reason why this is moving so fast is because neither Johnny Somali nor the prosecution are calling any more witnesses. So really what they're considering is what they've already considered during the first trial. They're not really looking at too many extra things coming out on this second trial, and they're mainly just applying the law. Now, there are some minor things that have happened since last time, including one that followed up by a member of the SCT team to submit additional evidence.
Thank you so much, Baked Buddhist, for the 2. Did I seriously just do that? Gosh darn it. I have to be careful with my stuff sometimes.
Morgan & Morgan is... You may be entitled. The reason why this is moving so fast is because neither Johnny Somali nor the prosecution are calling any more witnesses. So really what they're considering is what they've already considered during the first trial. They're not really looking at too many extra things coming out on this second trial, and they're mainly just applying the law.
No one noticed
Now, there are some minor things that have happened since last time, including one that followed up by a member of the SCT team to submit additional evidence in this case.
I mean, from what I understand,
we had Johnny Somali submitting...
Look, from what I understand, even if, counting all of his convictions and stuff like that, and what he's gone through, the minimum, literally, the statutory minimum of what he should have been facing should have been a year or a year and a half, and he only got 6 months. In my eyes, that's grounds for an appeal because the judge is being far too lenient. He's not even following the law in regards to the sentencing guidelines that he should be following. Why isn't he following those?
All these letters of reflection saying that he's sorry, he's remorseful. So a member of the SCT over here delivered this brand new filing pretty much rebutting why Johnny Somali's new letters of apology and what he's trying to say as his grounds for an appeal, why they don't matter. So let me read this translation to you from this new submission that was made by a member of the Somali conviction team. The defendant's statement of grounds for appeal contains the following arguments. Of these, 3 claims, admission of all charges and genuine remorse, absence of financial gain, and a promise not to reoffend are directly refuted by the video evidence submitted below. So they've got on that USB stick enough video evidence to show that these things are not true.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of times he would make an apology, and then he would talk shit about it on stream, about it afterward, and about how he didn't actually mean it, and he would really just continue to do the same shit. So, like, really, showing true remorse was pretty much impossible for RKI so long as he continued to stream.
Because Somali is claiming to be to admit all charges and be remorseful. He is saying that the nature of his characteristics of his crime were not serious. It says it appears the damage suffered by victims of the distribution of fake videos is not severe. 4, they're saying he suffers from bipolar disorder and is unable to obtain medication while staying in Korea. 5, the defendant did not cause any special financial benefit from the crime. And 6, the defendant pledged not to commit such a crime again. So the submission here that was made says number 2, 3, and 4. So saying the crimes weren't serious, saying the victims, their damage wasn't severe, and also saying he has bipolar disorder has already been addressed in the original submission. So all of these claims have been addressed in the original materials that were submitted. But they also had, this new submission has evidence that directly refutes the fact that he is remorseful, that he didn't gain a benefit from this crime, or that he pledged not to commit such a crime again. So all of that is countered by evidence which is submitted now. So the judge has more than enough to offset, if they want to, the judges, because there are 3 judges on the appeal as opposed to 1 during the first trial. They've got all the evidence they need to put this guy away and to lock this guy up and to refute any of his grounds for appeal. So in judgment here today, the upcoming June 25th court appearance will be his last in-person appearance.
June 25th.
Because even if, no matter what happens, even if he was to win at this appeal, there can be an appeal to the Supreme Court even by the prosecutor. So if the prosecutor doesn't like how this came out, they can appeal this to the Supreme Court.
Look, if the appeal doesn't go the prosecutor's way, I hope to God he appeals to their Supreme Court, because, 6 months is nowhere near enough time for the bullshit that Johnny Somali put so many people through.
But the Supreme Court of Korea does not do oral arguments. It's not like the U.S.
Yeah, they
it's
do
written opinion only. So even if this goes up to the Supreme Court, he's not going to be there physically in a courtroom again. So this is going to be the last time we're going to see him in a courtroom, which will be very interesting.
Last time we'll see old Johnny.
It's up to the judges at this point. We've done all we can do. We've said all we can say. We've covered all we can cover on my channel, on other channels, about Ramsey Khalid Ismail, about Johnny Somali. It's up to Korea. And I have faith in the Korean justice system and the lawyers that are looking at this, the judges looking at this, the prosecutor, obviously. I have faith in those people that the right thing is going to happen for Korea and that we're going to get a good decision here. So let's wait and see what the judges deliver in Korea. And I'm going to be following this as this case comes to a close. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
No way. That was probably one of the first times I've heard, and just, I'll catch you on the next one, and you actually hear it. Usually he cuts himself off. But that is good to know. So, not tomorrow, but the day after, so Thursday, it looks like Johnny Somali is going to have his last court appearance. Of course, we will be waiting for Legal Mindset to report on it. I'm sure he will be one of the first people to do so. So, third video rather, that we have to look over. It's another, it's only 10.5 minutes. But this is the D&D Lawtism. So, I was wondering at one point if anyone had gotten, really fucking crazy in terms of, making basically a law book, but for D&D. And it turns out Yeah, somebody in fact made a 500-page legal text describing the magical code of regulations within Pharaoh. Or some shit like that. So, look at let's see what that's about.
Welcome back to Questing Beast, I'm Ben. Today we are looking at one of the most absurd books that I've ever looked at on this channel. And I've looked at a lot of crazy fantasy and RPG books in the past. This is The Magical Code of Regulations by Christopher Frigo. And it is exactly what it sounds like. This is a solid 500-page law text describing all of the laws that are running the world of magic.
That's actually...
And the author knows what he's talking about.
That is so crazy. And holy shit, he used to work for the IRS.
The author is a former IRS auditor with a background in accounting. And let me tell you, it shows. Perhaps the best way to think about this is a world-building project that has gotten completely out of control.
Or no, not completely out of control, completely in control. He took the chaos of the universe, of this D&D world, and he fucking gave it laws and rules, and he put that on paper. That is quite literally the definition of organizing chaos.
This book acts as an in-world artifact. You can give it to your players and pretend that this is...
Yeah, and you can actually... Okay, you can buy this book and give it to... and it works as an in-game artifact. That's so good. That's so good. Someone give this to Eva. Someone... she can't read, but she can cast comprehend languages. And just, oh my God.
The real book they found in their D&D world. And it is as boring and as obtuse and frustrating as you would expect it to be. But there's a lot of fun little twists and quirks inside it as well. And the more that I read it, the more that I began imagining really interesting ways that you could use this within an RPG campaign. This would also work as an amazing gift for anyone you know in the legal profession who likes D&D. I'll put a link down below.
I'm not... Oh my God, actually. I mean, I'm just saying. Like... That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. I need the hardcover. Right now. It will literally... It'll go... I don't have... Like, a lot of lawyers have, like, a bookshelf with law books. I don't. I do have a bookshelf, though. And if I get a law book, a D&D law book, oh my God. I would be so happy. Add to wish list, absolutely. There we go. Let me go ahead and edit it real quick so I can allow crowdfunding. And there we go. Chat, you can check my throne. I've also added because a couple people were asking me about me resuming Elden Ring, and I have added an Xbox controller to my throne because you need a controller. Anyway, let's continue with the video. But yes, it is now. It's like $32. It's like 30. Oh, there it is. I see somebody contributed, so thank you very much. Look, I love the fucking cover. It's so good.
The book begins with a definition of bureaucrat. It means any person charged with the maintenance of forms, procedures, records, approvals, denials, certifications, reviews, or other such mechanisms without which civilization would immediately begin eating itself. This whole book is a love letter, I suppose, to excruciating, weaponized bureaucracy. It's the kind of thing that almost certainly would happen in any world where magic existed. Your PCs might have phenomenal cosmic power, but at some point bureaucrats are going to be popping out of the woodwork telling them that they have not filled out the right forms to be casting Fireball. And that's one of the ways I can immediately imagine this being used. It reminds me of some of the advice in like Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, where Gary recommends that you constantly harass your players with taxes.
Who's rating? Who's rating? Oh no, I don't know. Oh, thank you so much. Another contribution from Sparky's Deck. Hold on, let me... Is it... Who's rating? Why is it not letting me know who's rated? Can somebody tell me? Cause that's rude. That's very rude. I would love to know who rated me. Oh, Dama. Oh, thank you so much, Dama. Dama. Thank you very much.
Whenever they're getting too much gold, I feel like if you have a wizard campaign, any campaign with lots of magic, you should definitely create.
Oh no. Look, this is actually. Look, okay, so for those who don't know, I have been a part of, for like maybe a little under a year now, I've been part of an Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. Started out our characters at level 1, we managed to make it all the way to level 20, and we've actually defeated our route. The Frost Maiden. For those who know D&D, you're gonna be with me. For those who don't, I'm sorry, you're gonna be lost for just a second. Now, the DM there is moving on to another campaign, but a lot of us in the party have stuff unfinished to do. So, my DM has agreed to transfer the campaign over to me, and I'm now the DM of this level 20 campaign. I'm going to use this because we're gonna, we're up in Icewind Dale. We really don't have to worry about cities, politics, or anything like that. Rules, laws, and shit like that. It's the frontier. You know, fucking wasteland justice. But when we go down into, like, the Sword of the Coast or even Waterdeep and stuff like that, I imagine there's stuff in here that could very much be of use to me as a DM running a high-level party.
Some kind of extra dimensional magic enforcement agency. Have them be as obnoxious as possible and start chasing the PCs down across dimensions. And every time they show up, they're opening up this book to one particular line telling them what rule they violated and what their fine is going to be. I feel like that's an amazing premise for a campaign because it will drive the players absolutely insane and they will want to hunt down and destroy this organization first thing they do. This book is absolutely committed to the bit in every possible way.
Dude,
it's all so broken down in excruciating, clear detail. Every part is broken.
I do have statute numbers. 602.3. Oh, yes, fully funded already. Thank you to Cerberus. Thank you to Ezrafel, and thank you to Sparky's Tech Corner. We already have this book is gonna look. You guys aren't gonna make me read it, right? Literally the rules, Lawyer Guild. Yeah, no, it literally is, but look at this, right? Classification, look, 801.1, classification of magical objects and artifacts. 901.7, regulation of thermobulatory manipulation and shared magical dwelling. 401.6, safeguards and proportional compliance obligations. This is so fucking funny. This is, okay, chat, look, you know what? Here's what we'll do. And this is, look, because it's a law text. Law text is so annoying to read. Especially out loud. So, here's what we're gonna do, chat. Hold on, I'm gonna do something for you. 1. If I do a reading like this, it's gonna be members only. So, if you want people to watch this, you might as well give me members. 2. It's also going to be a goal, because, dear God, it's going to be hours and hours of reading legal text. Which I'm sure some people would love for me to do, but other people, look, I need to be motivated, okay? That's all I'm saying. And we're going to do a yellow tier or higher. It's going to be 20 super chats, and it's going to be, let's see, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30. I'll leave it open for 2 hours. I will read from the D&D law book for 2 hours. Frankly, if you look at a lawyer's hourly rate, that's actually pretty good. All right, start goal. There we go. Now let's continue.
Broken down into these smaller sections, which have subsections and subsections. It's all thoroughly cross-referenced. It's all internally coherent, at least as far as I was able to tell. It is a book that relishes, I suppose, this kind of legal writing and is really leaving up to you how you're going to use this blunt instrument as part of your campaign. Reading this book in any detail is a bit of a painful process, and I'm not going to pretend that I've read it in any detail. That would be pure torture. But skimming through it and finding little bits and pieces.
500 pages. if I was reading in my mind and not out loud, I could probably read that 500-page book in 7 or 8 hours.
That you can take out is actually a lot of fun. You might ask yourself, why design a book?
It'd probably be closer to 10 because I can read a lot faster than I can speak. So I imagine it would take me quite a bit longer to speak out loud as I'm reading. But yeah, I could get through this book in a 9 to 5. In a average work day, I could get through this book.
Like this. And the main thing I can come up with is that it actually makes it funnier. Many of the parts of the book that made me chuckle would just not be as
Prohibited uses in spell and artifact naming. Spells and incantations. The name David is prohibited in the naming and classification of all spells, curses, enchantments, or magical rituals. Existing spells bearing the name David must be renamed within 90 days. Using the form 1098D. Story, no, stop it. Stop. This is from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Did they fill out the form to jump to hyperspace? Prohibited uses in personal names. General prohibition. The use of the name Get David is strict. Who is David? What did he do? What did David do?
funny if the whole book was not so absolutely sincere.
God.
For example, one of the main laws near the front of the book is the prohibition on the use of the name David. And it goes into excruciating detail about how you are never allowed to use that under any circumstances. You can't use it as your PC name. You can't use it for an institution's name. You can't use it for a spell or an artifact. But in cases where an individual or entity has been subjected to a magical compulsion, resulting in the assignment of the name David, they may file a certain form, compelled name alteration appeal. Evidence of magical influence must accompany the appeal, which shall be reviewed by the Council of Councils. And the only explanation you get is this little historical annotation down here, where it says that it
originally acted under CCD 5123, Seminar MR 104, MON 131756, following the dissolution of the Davidic Conclave. Amended. There was that Conclave of David's, chat. There was an actual... Read it. Thank you so much, Jessica.
was enacted following the dissolution of the Davidic Conclave, possibly a rival group of wizards who are now absolutely anathema. So strap in while I take you on a tour through some of the crazier parts of this huge book, along with some ideas as to how you might use them. But first, a quick reminder that this month I am giving away a copy of the RPG setting The Painted Wastelands, which I reviewed recently, to one lucky subscriber to the Questing Beast newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter already, head down to the description below and you can sign up for that. It's totally free and you get in the running for all of my giveaways. And also a quick shout out to today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Into the AM, who are launching a new range of awesome graphic tees that are perfect for any GM running sci-fi or fantasy, using my link in the description below. Where you can really start harassing your players about spellcasting is in section 4, which is all about licenses and the classification of spells. Especially the section where it points out that spellcasters are not allowed to cast any spells unless they expressly declare the spell and the legal authority under which the spell.
Yeah, like here's probably what I would end up doing, right? Because I have a very good memory. I'll probably read this and I'll actually create either a kingdom or a faction that uses, like, this is their book of law. This is their charter. And if we're in there and say Eva decides to absentmindedly cast a cantrip, well, fucking the guards might show up and literally tell me if I have a fucking license for that, mate. I found Google money. Thank you to whoever that was. And another 10, oh my god. I honestly would love for you to run a true crime story in your campaign like the Wizards with Guns video about the wizard who got it. I was just telling my other DM about this. I'm sure they could actually attest to it, but I was literally just telling them about the interrogation of the wizard, what that Wizards with Guns did, and it was like a month ago. It was so good. Thank you very much to everyone for the supers.
Spell is cast. And there's even a section making sure you understand that this includes Fireball. So to make sure that you're compliant, you can't just fire off Fireball. You have to first say, in accordance with 601.1 of the Magical Code of Regulations, I cast Fireball.
Oh my god. That is so horrible. they're adding more vocal components just through you. Like, look, you can't cast a fireball legally unless you say, pursuant to or in accordance with. This is so fucking good.
And if you don't, wizards may show up to revoke your spellcasting license, or maybe mandate that you do some retraining and re-examination before you get that reinstalled. Now, of course, we turn this whole premise on its head. So instead of having a bunch of bureaucrats chasing your players around, you could give this book to your players and have them use it to bother other spellcasters. I can especially see a certain type of cleric or paladin having a good time getting increasingly frustrated.
Oi, do you got a spell voicings for that silent spellcasting?
That people are not following the rules. Now, some parts of the laws in this book.
Oh my god, could you imagine somebody like a sorcerer or a meta magic adept casting in front of this guy, using like a sorcery point to do a quiet spell, or even a quicken spell? I was like, hey, you just used a bonus action to cast that spell. That's not allowed. That's fucking legal, mate.
Book seem to be more applicable to some universes than others. For example, there is a law about how all magic has to be secret, and that's certainly not the case in a lot of D&D worlds. So you could either remove this section from the book entirely, pretend it's not there, or pretend that it's been superseded by some other law, or maybe just these wizards are trying to impose the laws of their universe on everyone else. I love how throughout the whole book, there's these little laws codifying things that you wouldn't normally think about, but would definitely be codified in a world with magic. For example, there's a section on full moon codification and time-based exceptions, right? When exactly is a full moon?
Definition: for purposes of the section, a full moon period shall mean the interval beginning at the moment of astronomically full illumination and ending at the conclusion of the immediately following lunar cycle phase as determined by the Department of Magical Affairs. Enhanced restrictions during a full moon period. Any spell or practice designated as full moon sensitive shall be subject to additional limitations, including, oh, this is fucking great. Dude, this guy actually seriously put in the effort at making a magical law text. That's fucking crazy.
What can you get away with during that time? When exactly do you have a autumn harvest exemption? And especially important for shapeshifters, there's a section on clothing requirements for citizens experiencing temporary biological transformation. Just because you're transformed into some sort of horrible monster does not mean you get to walk around naked. Gotta be clear about that. It shall not constitute a defense to a violation of this section that the individual was, at the time of conduct, not technically a person or operating under instinct. This section was enacted following repeated disturbances during the Spring Festival werewolf incidents, in which multiple individuals asserted exemption from clothing requirements while transformed. But perhaps the section most relevant to your D&D characters is going to be the regulations of chosen ones, lone heroes, and other destiny-bound individuals. We get some very careful definitions of what exactly a chosen one is, a lone hero is. For example, a lone hero is always routinely...
I love the idea of a guild of magical individuals actually knowing enough about how the world works to know that there are chosen ones, and there's numerous of them, right? So of course a magical guild or our country would have laws and regulations, codifying that into law as definitions and stuff and trying to regulate it. That's really fucking clever.
Observed in the company of between 1 and 6 persistent companions, including sentient items, loyal animals, former enemies, and individuals with matching cloaks. You also know it's a lone hero when they use phrases like, I work alone, or this is my burden, or I can't afford to care, in proximity to shared supplies, lodging, or jointly executed tactical maneuvers. These chosen ones and lone hero types are, of course, extremely dangerous, so you need to be certified if you are in fact a chosen one and carry documentation with you at all times. If you're a chosen one, you need to have an unabridged copy of the prophecy that you're going to be fulfilling. You need to make sure you have a companion disclosure form, including the roles, species, and expected mortality rates of each listed companion. You also need to file prophetic activity reports no later than 15 calendar days following the end of each quarter, including fulfilled or attempted milestones, companions gained, lost, betrayed, or permanently fused, cities saved, altered, or transformed into allegories, and any notable declarations made while standing on elevated terrain. It just goes on and on and on like this. Some of it is really funny, some of it is super boring, and it's all just mixed together. For example, right after the section on lone heroes, you have the regulations on suspiciously intelligent ducks. There's a section on the regulation of dungeons as...
I I'm sorry, suspiciously intelligent ducks?
You have the regulations on suspiciously intelligent ducks. There's a section on the regulation of dungeons as magical constructs. This could definitely be used in the player's advantage if they're going through a...
Oh, very much like this. Although I would probably make this more as like a... This is what we've discovered in dungeons as magical constructs, not necessarily these are the laws we are trying to impose on a magical construct.
Dungeon and it's not being properly kept up and maintained. Perhaps you could appeal to this magical council to go after the creator of the dungeon because they're not following the code. A super dry section on just endowments and gifts of magical assets is followed up by a section just called Please Send Help. Okay, I'm going to level with you.
Wait. Okay, I'm going to level with you here. This is supposed to be a serious section about emergency protocols for financial auditors. But at the moment I'm writing this trapped in an infinite pocket dimension created by a particularly sentient ledger. Yes, that's the thing. No, it's not as fun as it sounds.
Here, this was supposed to be a serious section about emergency protocols for financial auditors, but at the moment I'm writing this while trapped in an infinite pocket dimension created by a particularly vindictive sentient ledger. Yes, that's a thing. No, it's not as fun as it sounds. As you might expect, there's a whole section on demonic contracts.
Oh my god, yes. Please tell me there's sections on fey contracts, on devil contracts, and on giant contracts. People forget that giants also do contracts.
Read this very carefully before you sign anything with a demon. The whole book is clearly just a very idiosyncratic, very tongue-in-cheek love letter to the legal system.
Oh, beautiful. Wait a minute, look at this review. An unnecessary, comprehensive, and deeply incoherent framework. Several of my long-standing plans now require prior authorization. Glorgon the Destroyer. Professor Keen, thank you so much for the 10. I bet there is a section covering vampires and or elves. Yes, this means you, Eva. You are in the... I'm sure I'm in the book, right? I mean, at least vampires would be. Maybe elves, maybe vampiric elves. I don't know.
Forms and the codes that any kind of bureaucracy has to go through. I like these quotes on the back from people like Glorgon the Destroyer. An unnecessarily comprehensive and deeply inconvenient framework. Several of my long-standing plans require prior authorization. The only other RPG book out there that I've ever found that takes legal systems this deadly seriously is something like the Breach of Contract book for Mothership. I've reviewed this in the past, and basically it's a bunch of forms and contracts that you can use to get players in trouble as they're having adventures across the galaxy. And a lot of them are basically little adventure hooks as well. The Magical Code of Regulations is much less gameable than Breach of Contract.
I don't know. I think I could game this very well. You would definitely... It need to be like something in like another plane or something like that. But like this is definitely like the codex to an entire magical faction and a major focal point.
It's probably best classified
to a campaign if you put in the work.
As a world-building artifact and as an in-world item that you can give to your players. You could use it just as a fun, quirky little thing that they find, but it could also become a big part of your campaign if you tailor things that way. Is it something that you would use in your campaign? Let me know down.
God, I really would want to, but I need to get more experience under my belt as a DM. But thank you so much to Anima, who's the one who actually suggested that I watch that. That was very... I love that, and I now get a new law book to read. And if... Jesus, 4 out of 20 already. I mean, if you guys keep it up, I might end up be reading to you guys. Who knows? But I can imagine a war of the factions you have to pick a side, and one follows those laws. Look, in almost any situation, I can see most parties wanting to take this faction down. That's kind of like my thing. It's like, yeah, okay, we'll come across this faction, but this faction might very well be one of or a part of the main antagonists of the fucking campaign. But that was very, very cool. Now we have a few more here, including a fat electrician video. This video is entitled, it was posted 10 months ago, but it's titled How a Chicken Farmer and Inflatable Tanks Won World War II, Agent Garbo and the Ghost Army. I think I've heard about this, but I'm not entirely sure. Thank you so much, Professor Keen. You get the Book of Contracts too. Okay, well, hold on. That one's harder to find and also harder to apply for my stuff. Anywhoosies. So, I'm pretty sure I'm aware of this and what this is about, but we're gonna go ahead and check. I'm gonna give off my top thing with this. I think I remember this guy was either he was French or yeah, he might have been French or Italian or something, but he was like upper echelons of the class there, and he ended up like a bunch of bad shit happened. He actually ended up wanting to fight against the Nazis. He just wanted to do this chicken thing, and the Nazis always in the way. So he wanted to actually fight the Nazis for the Allied powers, but when he fucking went to do that, they didn't believe in him or whatever, or rebuffed him or whatever, and so instead what he decided to do is he went to the Germans. And he went to the Germans and he's like, oh, hey, I want to be a spy for you guys. Can you let me do that? And, like, they actually, like, gave him a test and he passed the test. And this guy's, like, the OG double agent. This dude was given, like, and he wasn't even, like, they sent him to quote-unquote England. He went to some other fucking place in Portugal and he was just making shit up. And eventually, I think England or someone caught up that this guy's running this counterintelligence fucking operation against Germany by himself, and they pick him up, and then a lot of cool shit gets done. But I'm pretty sure that's how it starts, is this fucking chicken farmer who decides to play double agent by going to Germany to quote-unquote spy on the Allied powers when he's actually spying on Germany.
Ah yes, the Spanish chicken farmer that trolled the Germans
Spanish.
So hard that at most he is responsible for the Allies winning World War II, and at the very least he is responsible for World War II ending years in advance and saving hundreds of thousands of lives in the process. I cannot stress to you enough, I am not exaggerating.
I didn't know that.
Today we're talking about Agent Garbo, aka Spanish chicken farmer, and a bunch of art majors with inflatable tanks, and how they became one of the most important, critical, deciding factors of all of World War II. They are quite literally the reason that D-Day worked. Okay, here's the deal. They don't teach you this in school, and you're not going to pick it up by watching Saving Private Ryan, but D-Day, the storming of the beach at Normandy, strategically speaking, on paper, was a horrible plan. Like,
yeah, there's a few reasons that D-Day was a horrible plan strategically. Typically speaking, there's a few things that you want if you're going to take a beach. One of the main things is a harbor. Normandy doesn't have a harbor. Another thing that you want is a large amount of beach space. So you want that beach to be able to go on for a long amount of time before it hits the cliffs or the jungle or whatever. You want like a good mile or more of runway space, basically, to land these boats on. Normandy Beach isn't very big, so it didn't have that going for it. I'm not actually sure why Normandy was chosen at all, because I'm pretty sure both like north and south of it, or east or west. I'm forgetting like the layout of Germany, but not Germany of this area. Yeah, no, Germany, duh. But I don't know why they chose Normandy when I'm pretty sure there were actual harbored beaches, like on either side of Normandy. So like it like the choice to take Normandy still baffles the mind to me.
Literally the worst plan available, okay? When you're trying to move in hundreds of thousands of troops, tanks, trucks, equipment, artillery, you want the biggest beach available. Normandy, not the biggest beach available. More importantly, you want a harbor. You want somewhere for all your ships to be able to drop off all the troops and supplies. Guess what Normandy doesn't have? a harbor. And if that wasn't bad enough, half the beaches are covered in cliffs. Why are cliffs bad? Well, because the enemy's on top of the cliff, meaning the enemy has the high ground and they're going to be shooting at you while you're trying to be a rock climber. And then if you make it to the top of the cliff, now your back is up against a cliff and you have nowhere to fall back to. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. Well, that does sound like a bad idea, but because it's a bad idea, the enemy's not going to be expecting it and you're going to be doing—
Oh my gosh, thank you again, the Professor Keen. He's really wanting me to read that book, apparently. Never underestimate chicken farmers, Eva. They are always that one guy who has the biggest rooster and they're okay. I see what you did there.
What the enemy isn't expecting, which is going to give you an edge. Most of the time, yes, but in this case, no, absolutely not. Why? Well, because the two most likely places for the Allied forces to launch a major invasion were Calais and Schoenberg. They both had ports, they both had big beaches, they were the perfect locations to launch a massive offensive. And Normandy is right in between the two, meaning that Germany has a ton—
Oh no! I'm sorry. Spook your shoe, that blows— Look, if you can't choose Normandy if it's between these two harbors. It means that the Germans' ability to respond and send troops to Normandy to reinforce it is doubled. So that doesn't— they're not expecting it. It doesn't matter. You're in between two major ports of entry, which means that they can send twice the number of troops at you because they're expecting it. So no, not even that makes sense.
Of soldiers both in Schoenberg and in Calais, and it's not going to take them long to send their troops to Normandy to reinforce and crush the entire offensive.
Nick is absolutely right. That doesn't make sense as a strategy.
Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that the beaches of Normandy are quite literally the meat and cheese of an ass-whooping sandwich, and the plan should not have worked. And the only reason that it did was because of a chicken farmer and a bunch of theater kids, and we're going to get into it right after word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Sundays. It's food for dogs.
Yo,
isn't that right, Mushu?
dogs for food.
All right. Okay.
Oh, it's a Mushu.
Calm down. Anyways, Sundays for Dogs is dog food that's made with a bunch of human ingredients. Oh, let's get back to the video.
So originally, Allies planned through Balkans in 1943, but Stalin didn't like that as it would fight his influence in Central Europe. I imagine there's a lot of people in my chat who are quite knowledgeable about World War II history. My history buff stuff kind of goes back a little bit before World War II. I'm much more interested in ancient Celtic and Viking warfare and politics of the time. Basically, during the time when Rome was trying to take Ireland and they couldn't. Why? Because fucking Vikings and goddamn Celtics.
Our story begins in 1912 in Barcelona, Spain, when Juan Pujol Garcia is born.
But not Vikings, because Vikings was like, what, hundreds of years after the Roman Empire fell?
He grows up as the son of a farmer in the early 1900s. When he turns 18 years old, Spain at this point in time has mandatory military service. He goes off, he serves in the military for 6 months, hates it the entire time. He just wants to go back home and raise chickens. So he finishes up his military service, goes back home, has his own little poultry farm, and he's just living life for a couple of years. And then when he's 24 in 1936, Spain is thrust into civil war.
Oh, Civil War of 1936 for Spain. Not sure what happened there, but I imagine he didn't have a good time.
Oh, my cabbages!
Now, I'm oversimplifying this, but essentially the Spanish Civil War had two factions. You had the Republic, which were fascist, and then you had a socialist revolution.
Oh no, so you had communism and fascism. Why does it always end up boiling down to communism versus fascism during Civil Wars? I mean, America's about the only person who didn't Civil War over that. But the reason that we did Civil War was almost equally as dumb.
Okay, so you've got extreme left-wing ideology and you've got extreme right-wing ideology, both of which are renowned for not getting along with one another. And Juan doesn't care. He hated being in the military. He doesn't want to be involved. He literally just wants to be left alone to raise his chickens and live life. But that's not really how
Dude, homie just wants to raise chickens. Leave him
Civil
alone.
Wars work. So what ends up happening is the
The socialists? Okay, the socialists... let me guess. I am guessing that the socialists are going to decide that his family are not sympathetic to the cause. And he is going to not like that. Maybe get thrown in jail himself or either conscripted. And when he gets out of serving, you know, his mandatory service, he's gonna come back to find his farm has been seized by this group of socialists. Why? Because that's kind of what socialist revolutionaries do. They love to seize the land and the hard work of, like, your poor, average, everyday person. And I'm sorry, I don't think a chicken farmer is rolling in dough. $10, thank you again for the 10. Professor Keen, rather. Also, little known fact, many of the German troops had all the German tanks, and all the German tanks was under the mustache guy's direct command, and he was passed out and under orders not to be woken up for anything when D-Day happened. Oh yeah, no, I did hear about that. And the reason why they well, I didn't hear that they were under orders not to wake him up, but I thought oh my god, another 10. I like, thank you, Nerdy Text and Accountant. I like learning about World War II. I own several World War II coins, stamps, and bomb safety arming pins that were dropped in Europe. That's pretty cool.
Socialists determined that his mother and his sister are not sympathetic to the socialist revolution, and they throw them in prison.
There it is.
Shortly after that, Juan...
God damn, why is it? That's always the playbook. I swear to God, that's always the playbook.
is conscripted to fight in the socialist military.
Of course he is. Yep, okay, I promise I didn't pre-watch this.
Terry, you know, the same people that just arrested his mother and sister, so obviously not a big fan, he refuses to do it.
Believe it or not, jail, right away.
From here, he's in jail for a little while, then he ends up getting broken out of jail by a bunch of counter-revolutionaries that help give him a fake ID that says...
Okay, I didn't expect him to be broken out of jail, but okay. So he was jailed. He was broken out.
He's old enough to not have to get drafted. From here, Juan is like, perfect, okay, great. I'm gonna go back home, I'm gonna raise my chickens, I'm gonna mind my own business, I'm just gonna live my life the way I want to. He goes back home to his farm, finds out that the socialist revolution has seized his farm for the war effort, and basically tell him to fuck off, it's their farm now.
Yep, that's because that's what always fucking happens.
You can't have it back.
My cabbages!
And as I'm sure you can imagine, if Juan didn't already hate socialism, he sure as shit does now, so he decides that he's gonna go and help the team that's fighting against the socialists. The problem is, he can't really get to the front lines to join that side, so he ends up joining the Socialist Revolutionary Army, volunteering to run communication lines on the front line, and then as soon as he gets close enough to the enemy line, he literally just takes off running, goes to the enemy side, and is like defecting to join their military instead. To which the Republic, the fascist regime that he's trying to join, is more than happy to accept him and let him fight against the socialists. No, I'm just kidding. They don't believe him. They think he's a spy, so they beat the shit out of him, and then they throw him in jail. At this point, Juan realizes both of these guys are assholes. He doesn't want to be involved in any of this. He just wants to go home and raise his chickens. From here, the Spanish Civil War ends in April of 1939. A couple of months after that, in September of 1939, World War II kicks off. To which Juan looks at the sides that are fighting. You know, you've got the UK doing their monarchy, democracy type stuff. Then you've got the USSR doing communism, which is just extreme socialism. Not really a fan of that. And then you've got Germany, ran by the Nazis, which quite literally stands for the National Socialist German Workers' Party.
Don't like that.
Think about that. Nationalist, socialist, Workers' Party. Like, you literally, you're everything. You're apparently socialist, you're apparently nationalist, which nationalism has some aspects of fascism. It's a stepping block. So basically, he looks at the Nazi party and he goes, "Oh my God, someone came around and said let's be everything," and that's fucking horrifying. Nationalist, not necessarily synonymous with fascism, but it is one of the cornerstones, followed by the word socialism and German Workers' Party, okay? It's literally everything he hates. It's everything in one. It's horrible. It's terrible. What the fuck? Wrapped up in one big ball of white supremacy, so Juan decides, fuck those guys, I'm gonna do everything I can to fight them.
You're gonna pay for this!
So he goes to Madrid to the British embassy and volunteers to be a spy. The British are like, Dude, you're a chicken farmer in a neutral country. You provide absolutely no value to us.
Yeah, they rebuff him.
Kick rocks. We don't want your help. Go away. At this point, Juan realizes that telling the truth isn't working, so he's gonna start lying. He goes, pays off some dude that runs a printing press to make him what appears to be a fake diplomatic passport like a politician would have that would grant him access into Great Britain. He then takes his counterfeit politician passport, goes to the German embassy in Madrid, and says, hey, I'm a Spanish politician. I just got orders that I'm gonna be stationed in London for the next couple of years. I'm sympathetic to the Nazi cause. I wanna be a spy for you guys.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
And apparently the counterfeit passport was good enough because the Germans believed him.
Holy shit.
From here, the Germans give him training.
That's one. Look, that's actually scary. Because, like, he has no setup with England or British intelligence. So he's just going to do this double agent thing when he really only has an in with one side and not the other. That's a dangerous game. Damn, that's some double triple agent. You know, it absolutely is, but it's like, it's double agenting for an agency that already told you no.
On how to secretly communicate with them like a spy would. Basically, he's going to write a normal letter in Spanish like he's mailing it off to a friend, just talking about daily life or whatever random bullshit. And then in between the lines of the letter, he's going to use invisible ink and ciphers given to him by the German to convey secret intel, and then he's going to mail it to a particular address.
Hey, it's not his fault. They decided to piss him off when they didn't let him farm his goddamn chickens.
From here, the German...
The Professor Keen, thank you for another 10. My gosh, where are we? Where are we with that? Hold on, I have to check. We're at 9 out of 20, my gosh. My gosh, they really want
give him a bunch of invisible...
Come on, guys, let's make Eva read the book like Kratos from the game of God of War. Force that old man to read that book. If you know, you know. I don't know, I've never played God of War.
Ink, the address he needs to mail the letters to. They give him £600 to buy whatever spy equipment he needs, and then they give him a list of intel that they're looking for. Presumably, this is like the test to make sure that this guy's legit. If he can go and get this intel that we already know and show that it's accurate, he's going to prove to be a reliable spy. It's a bunch of questions like, what is the makeup of the Strategic Bombing Command of the UK? Where is this factory? What do they produce there? Yada, yada, yada. A bunch of shit they already know. But if he can figure all this out and then give them the correct information and they can verify it's correct, then he can probably go out and find information that they don't have that would actually be valuable to them. Then they give him the codename Alaric and send him on his way, and as far as the Germans are concerned, he is headed off to London. The real problem, Juan can't get to London. He doesn't actually have a diplomatic passport. He has no viable reason for being there, and while the counterfeit passport worked on the Germans, it's not going to work on the British because it's their passport. They're going to know what a counterfeit looks like.
I'm gonna need to see some identification.
Really? Makes me feel young again.
So Juan decides he's going to get as close as he can, which is Lisbon in Portugal. So he heads off to Lisbon, gets a job working at the public library, and then uses his position at the library to get up-to-date newspapers, encyclopedias, military textbooks, and figures out the answers to all of the questions.
Yeah, if you go to a library, you probably be, wow. That's crazy. He's got all the intelligence he needed on Britain. From Lisbon to Portugal in a library. That's... Tony Stark built this in a bit of cave with a box of scraps.
that the Germans had, and sends off a letter verifying that he's a reputable spy. And of course, he gets all the answers correct or correct enough, and the Germans believe him, so now he's a reputable spy in the eyes of the Nazis. He then goes a step further and uses up-to-date British newspapers to find rental listings and picks out an apartment for, you know, however much it costs a month, and tells the Germans, hey, I'm living here renting this apartment, and the Germans start paying his rent for him, even...
Was this guy just acting as a money hole? Like, did this guy just drain the German's bank account? Going, hey, I'm doing all this spy shit, and I need, I got expenses, and they're just paying for all this shit that doesn't exist?
Even though he's not even living there.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Good.
Oh my God.
From here, the Germans want him to build out an entire spy network, basically covering all of England. They want spies outside of military installations to track troop movements. They want spies at all the major ports.
Oh no. Okay, look, if they want spies, make sure you pay me for spies. I hope to God he gets paid for the spy
and
network.
harbors tracking shipping movements. They want spies all over England. Problem, Juan isn't even in England. He's still in Portugal working at a library, so he just starts making shit up. He starts writing the Germans, coming up with all these elaborate lies of all the new agents that he's acquired that are completely fictional. He's like, yeah, I've got,
Oh no. He's literally role-playing Gissy. He's literally just making stat blocks, NPCs for his D&D campaign. Yeah, man, I got this guy, he's my rogue. I got this guy, he's my paladin. And it's just one dude making character sheets.
Agent Gimbal, who lives in Liverpool, he's of Portuguese descent, and he's going to keep an eye on the harbor for us. I've got Agent Carvel, and he's of German descent. He lives in Wales. He's going to be tracking shipping movements over there, and he just does it and keeps building out this massive fake spy network that doesn't even exist.
No
and
way.
then he convinces the Germans all of his spies need to get paid, so he's getting the wages of all of the spies.
You're just, oh my God. You have accessed a fucking blood vein of the German economic power, and you're just gonna bleed it dry now. And they're not getting any good intel. How long can this go? Eventually they have to see the intel's not right?
Is in his network that don't even exist.
And I make nothing. Zero. Zilch. By the time I pay all my scientists and my research department lab coats, it's a wash.
So from here, as far as the Germans are concerned, he's basically worked himself into like mid-level management of this spy network, and he's not actually doing any spying himself. He's just managing the 20 other spies and relaying all the intel. Now, Juan realizes this as well, and he realizes the beauty of it because now he can just start telling the Germans ridiculous shit that he pulls out of his ass, and if he gets called out on it, he can just blame it on the spy below him that doesn't.
He's got fucking redundancies. He's got people to pass the blame on to now. This dude is a fucking genius. You should have just let him farm chickens.
Actually exist, right? Like if he comes up with some crazy story to get the Germans to do something stupid, it's not falling back on Agent Alaric, it's falling back on Agent Gimbal or whoever gave him the faulty intel, and then they can fire that guy and he gets to keep his job. From here, he just starts lying. He just feeds the Germans lines of bullshit that's completely made up out of his own head while he's sitting at a public library in Portugal. For example,
yeah, I'm gonna say right now, honestly, Anima, I agree with you because there's no world other than, I guess, this one in which this works and you don't have, because I mean, intelligence agencies nowadays, they have people to confirm, like in parallel, intelligence and information that it's claimed, right? So while one spy network that you have might make one claim, if it can be collaborated with any of your other spy networks, that's actually a red flag, and then they're gonna burn you out, then put a burn notice out on you and shit. So, like, quite literally, I think the Germans were just so fucking hungry for intelligence that they really just kind of ignored operational security.
He's just like, okay, what would the British maybe be up to that would interest the Germans? Like, oh, aircraft carriers are a big deal in World War II. Yeah, the British are designing some super massive mega aircraft carrier and they're testing it on, let me check my encyclopedia at the library, the biggest lake.
The Professor Keen, thank you for the 10. You'll be amazed how much you can get away with if you act and believe into the BS you are pushing. Just look at con jobs in Wall Street and the financial markets, Drew. Do not redeem.
In Britain, Lake Windermere. Yeah, they're testing the new super carrier on Lake Windermere. Sends that off to the Germans. Just complete made up bullshit. And it's working. So he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to throw a Hail Mary. I'm going to start actually being disruptive to the Germans. I'm going to start physically impacting the outcome of this war. He tells the Germans that his spy up in Liverpool spotted a massive British naval convoy and they're setting off. They're going to sail along the coastline, go through Gibraltar and resupply all the Allied troops in Malta, and it's going to be a big deal. So the Germans are freaking out. They're like, holy shit, we're going to go take out this massive convoy with our warships and our submarines, and it's going to be a huge win for the Nazis. Hooray. Obviously, the convoy doesn't actually exist, but the Germans send out a massive naval detachment to go look for it for like weeks, and they never find shit. Now he's having a real effect on the outcome of World War II. He's having...
oh my god, he is sending the Germans out, searching for ghost convoys in the night. Oh my god, he's literally... He's tying up the German resources. That's fucking great. That is so ballsy. I can only imagine where does he get caught?
Thousands of German naval personnel on warships go out, wasting their time, burning through fuel, using up their assets. That naval detachment could be out there attacking somebody else, and he's just wasting their time. He's having a real tangible effect on the outcome of World War II. And while this is going on, unbeknownst to him, British intelligence, MI6, has developed the Ultra Machine, which is like a predecessor to the computer. It's a gigantic calculator, and they're using it to break encrypted Nazi radio traffic. And when a massive naval detachment goes out on a convoy, there's going to be some radio traffic about it, and they're intercepting all this radio traffic where the...
So this is how the British caught wind that there was someone out there fucking with the Germans and their intelligence. So this is how he must get in with the Brits, and it actually ends up getting useful information, actually has resources that a counterintelligence officer should have.
Germans are looking for a massive British supply convoy to go take it out, and
the huevos on this hombre know exactly. Well, Hellfire just... How dare
the British are like, what the fuck are they talking about? There's no convoy. Why do they think that we have a massive convoy going on? So they think that the Germans have a spy out there somewhere and launch a massive manhunt looking for this German spy. And obviously, they're looking for him in London around Liverpool because that's where he would be to have that intel or that mistaken intel or to get that false impression, and they never find him because he's in Lisbon, in Portugal, at a public library. Fucking
amazing, man. God, yeah, what is it's almost like that story of some of the first shots fired in World War II was actually German against Poland when they invaded Poland, and there was literally a post office that held back the fucking German army for 16 hours or some shit, completely what are you doing? You are postal workers. How is this happening? This man's a chicken farmer, and he's fucking sending the Germans out in every direction, wild goose chases, just fucking feeding them a line of bullshit that they're eating it up like it's gold.
Is it hard when you've got a library card? That's right.
A couple of months go by, it's mid-1942. He's been messing with the Germans for about a year now. So he decides that he's going to go to the British embassy in Lisbon and tell them hey, here's all this intel. The Germans trust me. I want to be a double agent spy for you guys. The British, super skeptical, start vetting the guy, and they see that he was the one responsible for the convoy fiasco.
Okay,
and they're
so they actually confirmed that. Okay, cool. So okay, you've been doing some good work.
Holy shit, we found the guy. He's not in the UK. He's over in Lisbon. Oh, fuck. So he immediately gets hired. They give him the code name Garbo, referring to a famous actress at the time that was renowned as the best actress in the world, but they think he's the best actor in the world because he's leading the Germans on this wild goose chase. So they move him over to Britain, and he is working out of MI6 headquarters. From here, because now he has real British intel, the lies get more strategic. They get more accurate, but not in a helpful way, but the Germans don't realize that. So he's gaining more and more trust with the Germans because his quality of intel continues to go up. But then he almost gets caught being a double spy because the Germans found out that there was a massive naval convoy that just left Liverpool that Garbo didn't report on. So they go back to Garbo and they're like, hey, we know you have a spy in the area whose whole job is to look over this harbor. Why didn't you report this to us so we could do something about it? To which Garbo was like, yeah, that guy, he died actually. Yeah, no, he was in the hospital sick for a couple of...
Oh yeah, sorry about that. My guy in charge of looking over the Liverpool harbor, he died. Probably Spanish flu or something. It's fine. I'll get another guy out there. It won't happen again. There's no way they buy.
And he's dead now. And then had the British take all of the, the fictional story, because the Germans knew the guy's name and his code name and his descent and all these fucking fictional details that he had created, and had the British put an obituary in the British newspaper for this fictional man, and then he...
No way! The British are actually helping him sell this lie by fabricating an obituary. Oh, dude, this is so good. This is so good. Now, well, my concerns of operational security are now fixed because he's got England helping him out.
He sent them the obituary, to which the Germans sent their condolences and severance pay for his widow.
Damn you, Roger.
No way. No way. The Germans came up trying to start a fight. Yo, why the fuck didn't you tell us about this? Dude, my guy died. Oh my god, we're so sorry. Here's the money. There's no way. How the fuck how he was in charge of this guy who was this dude's handler on the German side that was greenlighting all this. I mean, this is crazy. That there's...
Could you imagine having to play poker against this guy? He's the greatest bullshitter of all time. Like, if this were a video game, he put all of his skill points in charisma, because the Germans just seem to believe every line of bullshit that comes out of his mouth. Dude literally got this close to getting caught as a double agent and somehow manages to pull out a huge sum of money and get paid for it, while also...
There's no American saber talk. This guy's from Spain. He's a chicken farmer from Spain. He's never been to America. America has nothing to do with this. Is just a chicken farmer who is really upset because people wouldn't leave him alone to let him farm chickens. So now the Nazis get to pay for it.
Still being considered a reliable source. Don't worry, it gets even better. In November of 1942, the Allies launched Operation Torch, which was like the big advance into North Africa. Massive naval operation, huge offensive.
There's no way. Okay, there's no way. You're not doing that again. You're not saying, oh, my guy responsible for leaking this info to you, he didn't die again. So how the hell is he getting away from this? Because there's no way that the Germans are going to be happy if this massive front into Africa goes unreported.
It would be a big deal if the Germans found out and knew about this plan, right? So what they do is they don't report on it. But the Germans are going to wonder, hey, why didn't you fucking report on this? Because we know you have spies. We can't say another guy died of illness in the hospital.
Wait, let me guess. This is a guess. This is something I would do. If it like at the time. So we're dealing with, so we're like middle of the war, right? At least a year or two in. I imagine wartime postal service is pretty bad. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. Now, if they're able to get a letter with all the pertinent information about this massive offensive, and he's very fucking specific. Like it tells you everything. It tells you how many people. It tells you like what commander and stuff, right? But you have it postmarked, you let the operation happen, and then you send it. With it postmarked to before the operation actually happening, the Germans might just believe that it was just a shitty mail system, and that you were actually correct. That is how... Now, again, that's only going to work once. So, like, if another thing happens, I don't know how he's going to trick him again. Right? But, like, okay, your first guy, oh, he just died, I'm so sorry. The second time, okay, well, actually, we had all this information to you, it just didn't get to you fast enough. What the fuck is he going to come up with the third time, though?
What are we going to do? So Garbo comes up with a plan. He's going to write extremely detailed, 100% accurate, like how many ships are leaving the port, where are they going, when are they going to get there, when's the attack, the whole 9 yards, writes it all up, has the British government post-stamp it like a week before the attack so they have time to do something about it, but then just hangs on to the letter until the day the attack happens and then mails it off. So the British get 100% accurate information that would have a huge impact on the battle. but they get it too late. And from the German perspective, after they're reading this letter, they're like, holy shit, this is exactly what happened. This would have been gold if we would have gotten it on time, but this letter got delayed in the wartime mail. They were so pleased with the level of intel because the
I am treating this like D&D. That's just what I would have done.
mail being slow isn't Garbo's fault, and he did a great job. So they give him a huge bonus and then give a 50% pay bump to the 20+ person spy network that doesn't even fucking exist.
No way. So you pulled this off. The Germans believed you and proceeded to get... Look, that's like giving an entire company or like a franchise a 20% pay bump for everybody, for every employee. Dude, he just got a pay raise for his fake company. Well, this is crazy. There's no way.
I haven't cried like that since Titanic.
And then they're like, Alaric, Garbo, same guy, is too valuable of an asset. His intel is worth so much, we can't afford to have him being delayed in the wartime post. So they arranged for him to get German radio equipment, an up-to-date Enigma machine with up-to-date ciphers, and he has everything to communicate with the Germans directly.
Boyd, may I have the COS, please?
Okay, so that's good news and bad news, because the Germans are all... This could be a Mr. Bean movie. No, it absolutely could. Thank you for the 2. But this is what I was talking about. You can now... Look, this is the issue, right? Every excuse he comes up with, they might believe it, but they're going to do something to make sure that that can't happen again. So, this is an issue for him, because now he can't blame the slow mail anymore. But it's also incredibly good news because the Germans just handed him their fucking coding shit for their ciphers and their radio transmissions and their encryptions and stuff. You just gave that to a British spy. Now we have means of accessing everything that you say when you don't want it hurt. So that's an incredible fucking positive. But like more and more, I'm really worried about Garbo here, because he's gonna be burned out eventually. There's no way that, like, after a certain number of pats, he doesn't get burned by the Germans, right? $10, thank you for the 10, Professor Keen. If a chicken farmer can get rich from pushing BS, so maybe we are seeing a new profession for you, Eva. You wanna say that again? You wanna say that in my fucking face? How dare you? I built this country, I'll have you know. Alright, hold on. No! No! Okay. We're better.
Oh, I'm so happy! I'm so happy! This is the best day of my life!
So now, every time the Germans change the Enigma code in the Enigma machine, they don't need to crack it and develop the new cipher. They literally send the new cipher to their spy that's actually working for the British. Alaric, aka Garbo, aka a fucking chicken farmer from Spain, is now the most trusted, high-value spy that the Germans have from their perspective. And because of that, the Allies have him work on the most important deception mission of World War II, Operation Fortitude.
Okay.
All right, Operation Fortitude. It is basically one gigantic psyop. It is the miscommunication campaign to set the stage for D-Day. Now, D-Day in that of itself is pretty controversial. The British did not want to do D-Day. It's a big, risky move, having this massive amphibious landing. It could draw out the war for years or lose the war entirely if it fails. So the British wanted to take the more conservative route of going through North Africa, taking over Italy, and then pushing into the rest of Europe. Okay, nothing wrong with that. That's a good plan. However, it's going to make the war last longer, and the longer war lasts, the more resources resources you have to use, the more people are going to die. And most importantly, America's got to wrap this shit up because we've got another war scheduled with Korea in like 7 years. So we gotta get this ball rolling. Okay, on top of that, the Soviets are getting absolutely massacred on the Eastern Front. And if the Germans take over there, they're going to have access to all the Soviet resources, and the Germans are going to get even stronger, or potentially even worse, if somehow the Soviets pull it out of their ass and they win and they invade, they're going to take...
Operation Fortitude was where we tricked the Germans into thinking that we had massive amount of tanks where we didn't, right? They were actually, they were inflatable tanks, I think.
Take over all of Europe, and I don't fucking like the communists either, so we're not going to have either of those options. We got to get in there, fuck shit up, and leave. Okay, General Eisenhower's the Supreme Allied Commander. He's the one running the show, and he's an American, and America says we're doing D-Day. Guess what? We're doing D-Day. Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing to a disgusting degree, but this is more or less how the conversation goes. Fuck, fine, we'll do the D-Day.
Professor Keen, is there a way I can stop a single person from donating? You're responsible for most of these, and we're at 14 out of 20. I don't want to have to fucking read that book, but I will. Oh my god, let me do some of these. Ow, jeez, it itches. Okay, the Professor Keen. I mean, in pushing BS, I meant spy work, Eva. I mean, you can easily pass yourself as a 13-year-old girl on the phone after what, I'm gonna work for Chris Hansen? I'd be like, oh, hold on, I'll be right out. And then Chris Hansen walks to the door. You mind taking a seat?
Massive amphibious landing thing. Where do you want to do it? The most obvious place is going to be Calais. It's right across the Strait of Dover. That's named after a guy named Ben, right? What? Nothing, sorry, please continue. Okay, the upside of Calais is it's got a harbor. We can land a bunch of troops there. It'd be a good access point. The problem is the Germans have fortified the ever-living fuck out of it and have a ton of soldiers there because it's the most obvious place that we're going to invade. All right, so we won't go there. What else you got? Well, there's Schorenberg, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's the next obvious place, so the Germans have fortified it. All right, what else you got? Well, I guess the Germans probably wouldn't be expecting Normandy, but there's no harbor and it's covered in cliffs. That's perfect. We're storming the beaches of Normandy. I mean, okay, what about the cliffs? No problem. We'll teach all the boys how to rock climb. We'll have boats that shoot rocket-propelled grappling hooks up the cliff, and then we'll have boats with giant firemen's ladders that go up with machine guns on top and mow down the enemy while the boys are rock climbing. Okay, well, there's a lot of like rivers and ravines and creeks and stuff in that area. What if the Germans blow up the bridges and then our tanks get caught up in these little ravines and they can't cross? We'll build bridges, we'll strap them to tanks, and we'll bring the bridges with us. Okay, humor me. Let's just assume all of that works. What about the
bridges with us? Bring the bridges with us. I'm sorry, Eva, the reading is inevitable. It could be worse. Ask Dama what we got her to read. What did you get Dama to read?
Lack of a harbor. Don't worry about that. We'll make one back home in America and bring it with us. I'm sorry, I think you misheard what I said. I said harbor, you know, like the terrain feature. Yeah, motherfucker, did I stutter? We'll build one and bring it with us.
God damn it. I love the United States so much because only we're the ones who'd be like, hey, we're gonna build a fucking harbor and we're going to transport it across the Atlantic so we can just install a harbor on a Normandy didn't come with a harbor upgrade. Don't worry, I got you. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you can build roads. You can even build bridges. But building an entire harbor is kind of different. It's like a little bit larger scale than even that.
I'm sorry, just so we're on the same page. You're gonna build a terrain feature in America and bring it with you to the invasion. Yes, it's not that complicated. We're gonna call it a Mulberry Harbor. It's gonna work great. Okay, if you think that's impressive, we're building a portable star to give to Japan later. Just trust me, we're gonna figure it out.
Oh my. I guess it technically is a portable star. However short-lived. Oh my god.
Okay, I guess, what do you need from us? Well, you and the boys over at MI6 got the best spy network in the world. I need you to convince the Germans that we are in fact going to attack exactly where they think we're going to attack over in Calais to take a bunch of pressure off of Normandy.
Yes, you would be the perfect bait, Eva. You are pretty... Okay, stop. Okay, it's making me blush. Wait, no, that was the wrong button. Nobody saw me do that. Eva oh my god, everybody... Did that do it? Did that do it? It was not much. Knight, there's one more, I swear. Can I edit a goal? I can't, it won't let me edit the goal. Damn. Damn, it won't let it. Damn it! I can't believe I have to read this freaking bug.
So we have time to get in there and invade. Okay, I mean, we can fake radio traffic and give them false intel, but they're gonna have aerial reconnaissance in the area, and they're gonna see that we're not building up a massive...
No! Oh, damn it! Fuck. Oh, man. Oh, damn it. Thank you so much to chat for the whole goal. Oh, and another 10. Oh, no, you don't. You're reading it. Yeah, I'm already reading it, Isaac. You're just a little late. Fine, I'm ready. Okay. So, it's been ordered. I'll have to see when it ships and stuff. I'll let everybody know when it comes in. But there's a lot of people here who are not members, and I'm letting you know right now. One thing I am firm on is this is going to be a reading for members only. So, if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and grab yourself a membership. It's only $1 to start.
Army to invade, and they're gonna know that we're lying. Okay, so we'll put a massive army there. Yeah, problem, we only have one massive army, so if we put it right across the Strait of Dover from Ben Dover, I get your joke now.
Ben Dover, yeah.
Yeah, anyways, if we put the massive army right across the Strait of Calais, how on earth are we gonna put the massive army where we need it over in Normandy to actually invade? We're gonna fake it, obviously. Okay, here's the deal. I've got like 1,100 artsy-fartsy theater kid art majors that I don't really know what to do with. We're gonna put them in charge of this, and they're gonna build a fake ghost army that's gonna imitate a massive invasion force. So I need you guys to start building fake wooden planes and fake wooden landing ships. I'm gonna call the people that make the Macy's Day Parade floats, and I'm gonna have them make us like 1,000 inflatable tanks, a bunch of inflatable trucks, and a bunch of inflatable artillery pieces, and we'll start staging up for a massive invasion. And that's pretty much what happened. America sets about creating a ghost army that's ran by 1,100 art majors known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, and they are sent over right across the Strait of Dover to set up this massive
thank you so much
fake
for the 10
army.
gifted memberships. And this is amazing that there's this 1,100 theater kid. Like, here's a little more about me, right? I was in theater, but I wasn't an actor. I was an understudy. But I was actually a theater tech. I was in charge of the audio design for the plays, and I only was part of theater tech for 2 years, so I was only for 2 plays. But I did all the audio, and I also ran the fog machine. So I know like about being like the theater kid, like setting up a fucking. So it's just weird to me, like 1,100 me's going out there and just trying to convince people from a distance that there's a massive army about to rock your shit.
They start setting everything up and staging it so aerial reconnaissance sees it, and while that's going on, Garbo and the rest of the MI6 spy network is sending fake intel to the German high command being like, hey, we just had 15,000 new troops come in. We just had a bunch of tanks come in. They're setting up. They're gonna invade Calais. They brought in more troops. Oh, now there's even more. They've got 150,000 men ready to invade Calais. And then somebody got a really good idea to sell this to the Germans. You see, a couple of months prior in 1943, Patton got in a ton of trouble and got basically yanked out of World War II because he was in an aid station and there was a couple of soldiers with shell shock, basically severe crippling PTSD. And hard-ass General Patton was under the impression that these guys were faking it so they didn't have to go off and fight in the war, so he decided to beat a couple of them up. It really pissed off the American people. Eisenhower was furious, so he ends up getting yanked out of World War II. But the Germans never actually believed that America was going to pull their best fighting general out of World War II because he roughed up a couple of privates. So they've been thinking the entire time that Patton is off somewhere on some covert mission building up an invasion force getting ready to attack. So they bring Patton in as bait. They start calling this massive fake army FUSAG, or First Army Group, and they've got Patton parading around getting his picture taken. He's in newspapers. The Germans are obviously monitoring that. Then they've got Garbo, their most trusted spy, relaying the info that Patton's here. He's the one leading this massive army, and the Germans buy it, hook, line, and sinker.
This is just too easy.
So the Germans are like, if America's sending their best general to attack Calais, we're going to send our best general. They send Erwin Rommel up there with like 150 to 200,000 soldiers. 19 infantry divisions and 2 armored divisions are all now in Calais waiting for Patton to come. This is it. This is going to be the epic showdown between General Patton and Erwin Rommel, the 2 most well-known generals of World War II. Except it's not, because it's all bullshit.
So you know it's kind of funny? No joke. We kind of did something like that in our Icewind Dale campaign. So for those who don't know, in Icewind Dale, the goddess Auriel is basically affecting this northern country called Icewind Dale. I don't even know if it's its own country or whatever, but it's basically an ice wasteland, and it's because of this ice goddess. Now, one of the big things that happens with Auriel is she forces back the nature from the north. We had a druid with us, and towards the end of it, we actually had them doing hallucinatory terrain and utilizing an artifact that made the terrain actually feel and seem real. It wasn't actually real, but it just increased the potency of the illusion. So we basically made it look like nature was actually spearheading into Icewind Dale to attack Auriel itself. And that actually helped us rout some of her forces and actually end up defeating her later. But like, we literally pulled this move in our campaign.
Okay, in the days leading up to D-Day, Garbo and MI6 really set the stage. They tell them, like the day before D-Day, that a bunch of more troops just showed up, and it's going to be 2 weeks at the earliest that America's going to
Commissioner Czar, first of all, it's D&D. The goddesses are always hot.
launch this attack. So if there's anything that happens before then, it's obviously going to be a diversion to try to get you to take some of your troops out of Calais to soften up the target for Patton. Because of this, Erwin Rommel on June 5th, aka the day before D-Day, is like, sweet, I've got...
Thank you. Okay, see, a few people know Icewind Dale better than I do. Icewind Dale is a reggie under the purview of the Council of 10 Towns, which answers to the Lord's Alliance, but there's no proper city-state that holds it as territory. That makes sense.
Some time to kill. Tomorrow, June 6th, again, D-Day, is my wife's birthday, so I'm going to go back home to Germany so I can play hide the bratwurst and celebrate. So Erwin Rommel leaves.
No way. No fucking way. You guys tricked the oh my god, so he's going back to Germany to fuck his wife. Sorry for the language, but he goes back to Germany to fuck his wife the day before D-Day is about to happen. That is fucking gold. Holy shit, there's no reason they should have worked, and yet it did, and that's amazing.
D-Day happens, he's in Germany. He's not even in France. So while the birthday girl's laying on the bed pretending her feet hate each other, 156,000 Allied troops hit the beaches of Normandy. And because the Germans are convinced that America's going to attack at Calais, there's only like 20 to 25,000 Germans defending the beaches of Normandy. So the plan is working. Rommel hears that there's an invasion that gets launched. He makes a beeline back to his headquarters right outside of Paris, France. He doesn't actually get there until June 7th. D-Day +1.
Yeah.
He immediately does the worst thing possible for the Allied forces. He sends 40,000 infantry troops and an entire armored division from Calais.
Oh shit, that's a lot of fucking people. I mean, yeah, that is an appropriate response.
Down to Normandy. Okay, this is going to be absolutely catastrophic to D-Day. That's going to triple the amount of Germans guarding the beach and add a fuck ton of tanks on top of that. The absolute best case scenario is this adds tens of thousands of Allied forces dying, and the worst case scenario, it means that D-Day is going to fail as a whole. And it's more than likely going to be the second one, because if Rommel rolls up with a bunch of tanks, he is going to drive the American forces back into the ocean, and it is going to be Dunkirk 2.0 all over again. And then a chicken farmer from Spain saves the day. Garbo, Alaric, the most trusted German spy, sends a transmission to German high command that the attack at Normandy is a feint, it's a ruse, it's just a distraction. Do not pull your men out of Calais.
No fucking way.
And this makes it all the way into German high command and all the way.
No fucking way. This man spent so long getting his credibility through lying, and fucking threw it all in a Hail Mary. Hey, don't worry about Normandy. It's a feint. You don't withdraw your oh my god.
To Hitler himself, and Hitler signs off on the order for Rommel to turn his forces around and go back to Calais and wait for Patton. Literally creating the timeline we live in today where D-Day was a success, and the cherry on top, Hitler then signs off on an order to award Garbo, Alaric, the Iron Cross, which is literally the Nazi equivalent of the Medal.
He fucking lies to Germany and Hitler himself, and Hitler goes, bet, you know what, we're giving you the Medal of Honor. A Medal of Freedom, whatever the fuck. Holy there's no fucking way. This guy keeps lying to Germany, and Germany keeps rewarding him for it.
Of Honor.
How do you have these?
Oh, we actually got a lot of those. Some of the guys use them as paperweights.
Garbo has Hitler so convinced that this attack is coming at Calais that Rommel leaves his forces there for 6 weeks. And by then, it's too late. So the invasion of Normandy works because of Garbo and the Ghost Army, and then after that, the Ghost Army gets deployed into France. And from here, they go full PSYOP mode. They would roll up to wherever a real infantry division was. They would then paint that infantry division's logo on all of their inflatable shit, and then have their same patches. And then while that unit moved out, they would pretend to still be that unit in the same spot, so the Germans don't know where an entire division disappeared to, because they still think it's right there. And the level they went to make it look like they were legitimately the unit they had replaced was incredible. The Ghost Army had their own Morse code guys, and they were going to be blasting out fake radio transmissions, fake Morse code, fake everything, in addition to all the inflatables and just appearing like a real military unit. And with Morse code, you can tell who the operator is. The way that your hand strikes the little keypad is very...
From Morse code, it's kind of like hot handwriting. Like, it's dashes and dots, but people dash and dot differently, to the point where, like, an experienced telegram operator can tell whether or not it's their friend who's on the other side of that dial.
Very much like handwriting or your spoken voice. You can identify different people and different operators.
Like
so these Ghost Army Morse code operators would go and sit with the real infantry division's Morse code operators and learn their exact handwriting, so to speak, so that they could mimic it perfectly. They had trucks with gigantic loudspeakers that would blast noise.
He means Morse code, but some people, I don't know why, but it depends on, like, it's almost like a dialect thing, I think. Like where some people, like, there's some people in the United States, I shit you not, they don't call it ramen, like ramen soup. No, they call it ramelin. Ramelin soup. I'm not even fucking joking. So I'm wondering if it's probably something similar. It's supposed to be Morse code, but some people call it Morse code.
Noises of tanks moving, trucks moving, NCOs yelling at soldiers to put that cigarette out, all kinds of shit to make it look like a real military unit was there. They took a bunch of theater majors, actors, and they would send them out into the nearby towns.
Frankly, that's... Do you know how brave you have to be 1,100 theater kids armed with inflatable shit going into the fucking war zone, into the front, and be like, yeah, we're here. They don't actually have weapons. They don't actually have tanks and jeeps and all. No, they have inflatable versions of that. That, honestly, that's it's braver to do that than to go into battle with a fucking rifle. They're going into battle with inflatables.
With the patches of whatever unit they were imitating, and they would go into bars and get drunk and have conversations dropping fake intel about where they're going next and what they're doing next, so that German spies would hear about it and relay false information.
Oh my god, whoa, what a fucking psyop fucking wet dream. Holy shit, we were completely gaslighting the Germans.
Every major step the US military had to make, the Ghost Army was there drawing enemy fire the entire time. When Patton finally did return to theater in Operation Cobra, the Ghost Army was there. When US forces crossed the Siegfried Line, the Ghost Army was there drawing enemy fire and German attention so that they could actually cross at the real location. When Allied forces crossed the Rhine River, the Ghost Army was there pretending to build a bridge 10 miles away from where the real Allied forces were crossing. I keep calling them theater kids and art majors like it's an insult. It's not. These guys have the biggest biggest balls on the planet. You know what sucks more than going into combat in a tank and having the Germans try to kill you? Going into combat, having the Germans try to kill you like you are a tank, and you've got a fucking inflatable tank. The Ghost Army is basically the rodeo clowns for the entire US military at this point. The Bull Rider gets all the glory, but the rodeo clowns are in the ring the entire time saving everybody's ass.
Thank you!
And to make things worse, this is top secret. They can't tell anybody that's not already in the know, so they have to keep the entire thing under wraps, which means they're constantly running into high-ranking officers from the US military that are asking questions, getting mad at them because they don't think they're supposed to be doing what they're doing, and it just causes a whole mess of issues. My favorite story is the Ghost Army was out on a convoy moving to another location, and some general comes up all pissed off because this unit isn't supposed to be in his AO, and he wants to know what the fuck they're up to. And these guys aren't allowed to tell the general what they're doing, so they fucking lie, and they come up with the best lie ever. They literally tell the general, we're just going around making sure all the street signs are the same size. To which the general is like, why the fuck are you doing that? And they're like, I don't know, man. We just got the orders by our chain of command. They told us to go around and make sure all the street signs are dress right dress so nobody gets lost, which sounds dumb as fuck, but if you were ever in the military, that is the most military thing that would happen, and it 100% would. Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, the Ghost Army, had a tremendous impact on World War II, not just on D-Day, but in the entire European theater.
Very cool.
So World War II comes to an end. The Ghost Army is essentially sworn to secrecy. Nobody knows that this even happened until the 1990s. The British find out that Garbo got awarded the Iron Cross, so they're like, oh shit, we should probably give this guy an award too. So they give him the Order of the British Empire, which is the highest ranking award they can possibly give him. Homie literally got MVP playing for both teams. And the Nazis never even found out that he was a double agent. The British then give him a big lump sum of money as a thank.
The dude just spent his entire time as a siphon to the Germans' bank account and is largely responsible for us winning the war. And he's a chicken farmer.
Thank you. And then he's kind of worried that Nazi sympathizers are going to track him down and kill him if they find out that he was the double agent that quite literally preemptively end World War II, if not is responsible for winning the entire thing. So in 1949, he fakes his own death and disappears. From here, everybody thinks he's dead for decades. And then 25 years later, a historian hears that he might be alive somewhere in South America and ends up tracking him down. And he's a teacher that owns a bookstore in Venezuela. So the British bring him back over for the 40th anniversary of D-Day. He gets publicly recognized. He's a hero. He finally gets his moment in the sunshine. He gets to go to Normandy and see where all of the battles unfolded. And
now what I want to know is who that reporter was. Do you know how good of a reporter you had to be to track down a man who fucking faked his own death and fled to South America post-World War II? And he wasn't a Nazi?
Then, while overlooking one of the cemeteries at Normandy, he said, and I quote, "I knew I saved tens of thousands of lives, but I don't think I did enough." And that is the story of how a chicken farmer from Barcelona and a bunch of theater kids with inflatable tanks helped win World War II. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Very nice. Oh. Stitch. Oh, he is being rewarded in British land for being a double-agent spy. Yeah, no, for real. Okay, so we have a little bit less time than I was hoping. Well, actually, as long as I don't pause a whole bunch, we should be able to get through these two parts. These are Johnny Depp's funniest moments in court. We have parts 1 and part 2. There's a lot of moments of the Depp v. Heard trial that I referenced that a lot of people don't understand because they might not have seen it or whatever. And somebody, I will sneeze there. Somebody put a compilation together and basically just made the best parts of the trial. So we're gonna jump right into that.
On my way back. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
It's just
Why do you deviate from our agreement? It's not about her doing films. How do you think she got Aquaman, sir?
You heard Miss Heard say, "Get off me," right?
No, I did not.
This wasn't the first time that you talked about.
No, hold on. Festiva, thank you so much for the 20. Here's another story about the man. His wife had no idea about anything he was actually up to. So the Brits and he had to do one massive psyop on her so she wouldn't run away or tell anyone that he wasn't helping the Nazis. Oh my god. Dude, the fucking gaslighting champion of the planet. I swear to God.
Amber hitting the wall hard. Let's pull up Exhibit 213, please.
Hitting the wall hard based on the
We'll just take a look at the
accusations
next
that she
exhibit, Mr.
brought. I'm sorry, I was talking. Is that all right?
You would answer my question. We'll take a look at the next exhibit.
As long as you're happy, sir.
I felt this pressure. I felt this pressure. He thought he was punching me.
Sean
Yes,
Bailey,
without
who
tears.
was the number 3.
Objection, hearsay.
I don't know yet. I'll overrule it at this point.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just basically said in the...
Objection, hearsay.
Bro,
Your
you
Honor,
can't.
this is about him
It's in
learning
an
about this.
article.
It's not.
So here's the little thing, like, coming from, like, for any trial lawyer might tell you this, right? While it is important to object when it's necessary, if you over-object to something, especially like to hearsay, that's going to end up translating to the jury as, hey, I don't want whatever this guy's trying to say to be said in front of me. Wait, that's what you're telling to the jury when you object to hearsay this many times in a row without him even being able to get it out. It means that the jury is really interested in what this is gonna be because you are so fucking motivated on making sure it doesn't hit the courtroom floor. So objecting this frequently when you don't need to, especially, it's gonna do more harm than good in your case.
Saying that...
Objection, hearsay.
Last week, Mr. Rottenborn asked you about a quote where you said you wouldn't come back to the Pirates franchise for $300 million and a million alpacas. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
When relative to...
That's correct. We don't have cameras in the video. Sorry, we don't have cameras at the hallway. We don't have cameras on the hallway.
She brought up
Okay.
the situation of her fecal matter on the bed.
I do feel really bad for him when he ended up having to talk about the poop on the bed. When you end up pooping on your spouse's bed, you just need to reevaluate.
And I,
In fact, to this point,
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
Overruled.
Good call!
and she just tried to blame it on the dogs. That's what the opiate does. The dopamine and serotonin, as you know, I imagine, are things that keep us it gives us our moods. It gives us.
I appreciate that, but my question wasn't that. My question was,
I'm just trying to school you.
So, the
did he just vape?
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
what time that you did move in with him.
You guys have to remember, too, just as often as you can apply the hearsay objection in court, there are just as many exceptions. I think there's like 20 exceptions, I think, to the hearsay rule. Like, there's literally just as many exceptions as applications to the hearsay rule. So to object as to hearsay this often is just bungling your case.
Objection leading. I'm going to object on hearsay.
My co-star.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. Objection, hearsay.
It was fine.
Objection,
that it was
hearsay.
with Paul Bettany.
Objection, hearsay.
You said.
Objection, hearsay. Objection leading.
Or on the street. You need to
Objection,
move it.
hearsay. That calls for hearsay, Your Honor.
Assuming the plan was to do the
Objection,
full
Your Honor,
detox.
hearsay. Objection, form, compound.
See, now what's interesting there, because that was Carmela Vasquez's cross-examination, and you can tell she did almost as, if not more, hearsay objections than the other side did, but they weren't as cringy and annoying because the person testifying was saying shit that completely had nothing to do with anything. Okay, hold on. What? Oh, okay. Okay, hold on, chat. I'm going to put this on speakers, and then I'm going to click play because I have to put popcorn on for Papa Elfpire.
Do you have any discussions with Miss Heard on the way to Coachella that evening?
We had a conversation pertaining to the surprise she left in the boss's bed.
And when you refer to the surprise in the boss's bed, what are you referring to?
The defecation.
A few things about Coachella, and then the fecal delivery, saying that it was the dogs. And I could not agree with her. It was not the dogs.
But in fact, you don't recall seeing Amber Heard on May 24th, correct?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what I got for breakfast.
Okay.
Insider from 2015 that says Johnny Depp has his 5th box office bomb in a row.
If that's what it said, it said. Are you just going to keep reading this?
Well, I mean, and you would agree that before the op-ed there was negative publicity for Mr. Depp about assassinating President Trump. Would you agree?
No, I missed that one. I don't particularly remember that. I have a lot of stuff in front of me.
Did it mention Mr. Depp? That's what I asked you.
Well, does she have another husband who abused her
But
in
did it talk
2016?
about it? Did it talk?
Mr. Drew, who was a chef, which I don't believe is hearsay.
But I've just never seen that.
Driving that.
Yeah, that did it.
Why are you here?
I am here because my ex-husband is suing me for an op-ed I wrote.
And how do you feel about that?
I struggle to have the words. I struggle to find the words to describe how painful this is. This is horrible for me to sit here for weeks.
Do you remember the first time that he physically hit you?
Yes.
Please tell the jury about it.
It was it's seemingly so stupid, so insignificant. Continued to drink and then eventually started howling like an animal.
Just, I mean, there's part of it that the noise of the airplane. Keep an eye on it.
Passed out in a chair during daylight hours.
Again, isn't passed out, that's a very specific term. Sleep could be one.
You're complaining about her ambition in this text to her, to Dr. Kipper, correct?
I'm realizing that her ambition is far stronger than her supposed feelings for me, yes.
And you tell Dr. Kipper, I cut the top of my middle finger off in this text, correct?
It's just the way it was worded. It doesn't mean that I actually literally cut my finger off after, at the age of 12, finding the only thing that gave me peace, which is playing the guitar. Very unlikely. Why didn't I start lopping off digits when I was 13 then?
Just the way it was worded. Now, Ms. Tucker,
Did you provide a copy of this pamphlet to Amber Heard?
I did not.
I absolutely hate these introduction questions. Why are you here? Geez, a way to waste the jury's time. How does that make you feel? Geez, who could possibly figure that? Yeah, no. you have to be careful, especially with introduction. Like it's okay to like get the jury to understand your witness's frame of mind at the time, but you don't need to waste so many questions accomplishing that.
I did not identify her as a victim of domestic violence.
Is that the sole reason?
Holy shit! She totally just went. God damn it! I thought I had that one.
Why you did not give that to Amber Heard?
Yes, we want to give them to victims of domestic violence.
I'm going to ask you to take a...
At this point, Your Honor, Ms. Heard's counsel is asking to move into evidence and publish to the jury.
About 9 years. Isn't it true that while he was on the mezzanine level and Miss Heard and her sister were there, that he was reaching for Amber's hair while he was trying to hit her with that cast, correct?
That is not correct.
And it's possible that she was standing in between Mr. Depp and Miss Heard then, correct?
No.
Well, in fact, you saw Mr. Depp push or shove Whitney Heard, correct?
Absolutely not.
And it was only after Mr. Depp pushed Whitney that Amber stepped forward and punched him in the face. Isn't that right?
That is not correct.
Really, I didn't understand why they want me to do that. Like, I don't know.
Do you have a drinking problem, Johnny?
Objection calls for hearsay.
What the jury's saying what the doctors told him.
I think that's what's about to be testified to.
Oh.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. Ms. Heard could very easily drink 2 bottles of wine per night, not a speed, if you will. Cold, I don't know if I can say the name. Am I allowed to say the name?
At the beginning of her opening, Ms. Heard's counsel mentioned that the first time you supposedly struck Ms. Heard was in response to a comment about one of your tattoos.
Yes, I remember.
And what is your response to that?
It didn't happen. I've never struck Miss Heard. As I said yesterday, I've never struck Miss Heard. I've never struck a woman in my life.
Would you agree that if you did not find something that would be in favor of Mr. Depp and negative to Ms. Heard, that you wouldn't be an expert in this case? That essentially you into court if you're going to say that Ms. Heard is right and Mr. Depp is wrong, correct?
So as a forensic psychologist, my obligation is to the court, is to the fact finder. I present science.
I remember her. She was so good. She was perhaps one of the best witnesses we had in this case.
Regardless of what that science may be. Now, when I take a case, my retainer agreement is explicit about that, and I discuss that with the attorneys.
I'm asking you a question. I'd like you to try to answer my question. You understand that if you found favorably to Ms. Heard and negatively to Mr. Depp, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be testifying.
Objection, speculation.
No, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, objections.
That's not speculation.
That's absolutely. Why are you arguing with the judge in front of the jury? Go to sidebar if you want to argue.
No, I'll sustain the objection if you want to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, sustained. Oh yeah, you fucked up, didn't you? Get out of here.
It goes to bias, Your Honor. Let's talk about makeup.
The fact that she did not. Oh my. Okay, look, I'm freaking out all over again. So when did you stop beating your wife? Question. Exactly, Anima. Holy shit.
For a moment. So you don't know what type of makeup regimen Amber uses every day, correct? Correct. Okay. And in fact, you don't. And would you agree that there are a number of different types of makeup you can use that would still give you a natural look? There's sun in the Bahamas, right?
Most of the time.
Do you remember wears For sunscreen?
No, I wouldn't have asked if somebody has skin condition.
Like, on set, with James Franco? Did you hear that?
I don't recall.
Did you hear him say, at least you liked it?
No.
Did you hear him say, I bet you slipped a tongue in there and you liked it?
No.
Did you hear him say, make references to Amber's and asking her if her was wet?
Your Honor, lack of foundation, harassment.
Did you hear any of that?
No, not that I recall.
Okay.
I'll rule the objection. It's fine.
Thanks. And they feel paranoid?
Yes.
And they feel frightened?
Yes.
Afraid that everyone's going to believe the perpetrator, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, they're afraid they're going to lose their security.
There was another article in 2015 that says, quote, has Johnny Depp become...
I love this dude too. This guy's like, he's like, I've been out there making deals in the trenches. I think he was some Disney deal maker. And he's like, dude, fucking get out of here with this bullshit. All I know is his flatness and how he reacted to these questions was fucking gold.
Hollywood's biggest joke.
I don't know. Netflix has a whole festival going now. Netflix is a joke.
And you'd agree that there is an article in...
That looks pretty good. All right, we have one more and we're gonna go right into it because we are running down to the wire for our 8 o'clock watch along with Oko of The Amazing Digital Circuit's final act. So let us
All right,
just
good
jump
morning.
right into this.
All right, do we have any preliminary matters before the jury comes out?
Yes, Your Honor, we would just ask Lee
Of course.
for Your Honor to please publish our agreed demonstrative.
All right, there's no objection to that? People change places here. I just want to make sure I look at the right.
Ava, did you see that one clip where the voice actor of Dr. Doofenshmirtz dubbed over one of the witnesses? Yes, I did, and you're referring to Dr. Schmeagol. I'm pretty sure that's his actual name. I might be wrong, but it's probably going to be shown in here. Dude was a fucking weirdo. I don't know what that witness was about.
Right place. I'm assuming it's...
We tried it out beforehand. It seemed to work.
If it's a blank screen, it's hard to see if it's working or not.
Understood.
It is published,
Thank you.
but it's just a blank screen, I guess. Okay, we're gonna hope that's it then. All right. Are we ready with opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, I gotta admit, the fucking edits are gold. The edits are actually gold. The random focusing on the microphone moving, the little text, this is actually good.
Johnny Depp. Some of you may recognize Mr. Depp from seeing him portray characters such as Edward Scissorhands or Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. A respected artist whose name was associated with success at the box office. Today, his name is associated with a lie.
He gets 5 big booms. Boo! 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 Boo!
The defendant, Amber Heard, that falsely cast Mr. Depp, falsely and unfairly cast Mr. Depp as a villain. A man, under the law, a person who makes a false statement about someone else can be held responsible for the harm that results from that falsehood. That's because words matter. This is a case about the impact of Amber Heard's
Yeah, that was the defamatory statement.
words on Johnny Depp. And the op-ed was published, and this is no accident, the evidence will show, on the eve of her first major acting role in the movie Aquaman.
I'm so...
Dude, what was that Voldemort neck twist? Look. I'm not gonna bring up a thing, but bring up like you can see pictures of Voldemort doing like that weird. Carrie does it too, but like they do this like neck twist thing, like they're so they're so hard to like keep themselves under control. They have to literally move. She's about to do the fucking Voldemort neck twist. Watch this.
Of her first major acting role in the movie Aquaman.
Yeah, see, that's quite literally like, uh-oh, the demon flaring up.
I'm so pathetic when it comes to knowing what movies I've done. I'm sorry. I don't watch them. I've Feel better not watching them. What was the question again?
How many?
I have order in the court, or I will have you removed. Understood?
Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
Mr.
Dude, some of these lawyers' accusations were so wild, and he was trying to urinate in the foyer, right? And I'm pretty sure this witness is the one who owns that freaking apartment that Johnny Depp was renting out the floor. And he's like, "What? No, he didn't pee in the foyer. What the fuck are you talking about?"
Mr. Depp had his penis out of his pants, didn't he?
His penis out of his pants. What the fuck?
I think I would remember.
Relevance.
I'll allow. Next question.
And you were trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct? I mean, so he was strong enough to break away from your grip, correct?
No.
So you had his arm and he broke away, though, correct?
No.
You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Yeah.
So there is an issue with this part. During one of Depp's depositions, he actually is the one in his testimony who describes his large glass of wine as a mega pint. And I don't know why the lawyer didn't pick up on this. He just got fucking mobbed in the middle of court by Johnny Depp, I guess. But he should have said, well, mega pint is a wordage that you use in your deposition, Mr. Depp. So are you telling me that that testimony is not in fact true? Like, there's actually a way that he could have recovered that question and it would have gotten points to Amber Heard's side, but he completely dropped the ball.
I poured myself a large glass of wine.
Right.
I thought it necessary.
Right.
I once gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking.
Very different thing from what you texted Paul Bettany, correct?
Again.
Okay. So you.
I said, on my head, I was like, you think someone's trying to get into your unit? There's scratches like 4 inches above the floor on your door. That was the dog trying to get into the unit. May 24?
Yes.
Yep, that's Tuesday.
But in fact, you don't recall seeing Amber Heard on May 24th, correct?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what I got for breakfast.
Or 5 bathroom doors and 2 bedrooms.
Johnny is not an accurate historian of what happened during that period of time. I'll guarantee
Ms. Heard, that's not my question. 5 bathroom doors, 2 bedrooms. That's what you knocked on.
You were asked by Ms. Vasquez about why Mr. Depp won't or can't look you in the eye. She played a tape in which Mr. Depp said, "You will not see my eyes again." Do you recall that?
That random look. If you're gonna read testimony or quote someone as a lawyer in court, you don't want to make funny voices because that could be considered mocking. Someone in the court. You know, be it the witness, the victim, the accused, whatever. But you're not allowed to do that.
I do.
Do you have a drinking problem, Johnny?
Action calls for hearsay.
Different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. For him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
Is Disney aware that Mr. Depp has testified under oath that he would not take another Pirates of the Caribbean franchise role for $300 million and $1 million alpacas?
No.
Hey, Lori, who on the team would you not let date your kid?
They keep fucking talking about this million alpacas thing, and it was hyperbole. It was exaggeration. If you know anything about Johnny Depp, you know he is super into writers like Hunter Thompson. He fucking not understudied, but he literally like hung out and lived with Hunter Thompson to method act his fucking role in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So like, Johnny Depp has a very hyperbolized way of speaking. Obviously, no one's gonna offer him 1 million alpacas.
Ewan? He's all talk. You can hear it in his voice. That sounded like all talk, Ewan.
He'd had a conversation with Ms. Heard.
Hearsay, Your Honor.
There it is.
It appears that Ms. Heard had told...
Hearsay, Your Honor.
I'm not sure.
So actually, it's not technically hearsay if if you're in court and you're like him, right? And he's like, Amber Heard told me. Well, Amber Heard's right there. She can challenge her testimony, but this is not technically an out-of-court statement, considering both parties involved in said statement are actually in the court. Again, there are like 20 exceptions to the hearsay rule. So objection to hearsay is not a very strong objection, and you can get other things. I promise you can.
This is apparently.
Well, I think. Okay. So I think it was in the.
Oh, here he is. Here's the guy. Here's the fucking guy.
Context. I think it was in the. You probably should read the context of it, because I think the context was, and I'm trying to think back. Okay. That all of this is unethical, which is what you were saying. This is how I'm interpreting what you were saying to me. And unless you do the evaluation directly yourself.
There were numerous negative news stories about you. You'd agree with that, correct?
Objection compound.
Not sustained, it's a compound.
Yeah. Last week, Mr.
Yeah, that's a compound question.
Rottenborn asked you about a quote where you said you wouldn't come back to the Pirates franchise for 300.
Again with this million fucking alpacas. God, they really want to hit that fucking home for some
$100
reason.
million and a million alpacas. Do you remember that?
I do.
What?
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, I've known Mr. Tobin for several years. I meant no snarkiness toward him.
Well, you're just a snarky guy.
Drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
Oh my god. Holy shit, I forgot the judge said that.
Did I read that right?
You did. You should read the article.
And the last one.
Have you seen Mr. Depp take any drugs by this point?
Oh, yeah. To him in some way. Johnny took his penis out of his pants.
Wait, what?
I was on the edge of the couch. I was just sitting there on this carpet, looking at the dirty carpet, wondering how I wound up on this carpet, why I never noticed that the carpet was so filthy before.
How old are you, Amber?
I am 36. I just celebrated.
Okay. And do you have a daughter?
I do. She also celebrated her birthday recently. She's 1.
Okay.
I was walking out of the bedroom, slapped me across the face. I turned to look at him. And I said, Johnny, you hit me. You just hit me.
Just do a split screen so we can start.
Oh, he made a drawing. It's a good drawing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Paul
good,
Bettany's a good friend that you've done drugs with, right?
That's a strange question. Where's he gone?
Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes, sir.
Maybe just look at his highlighted copies.
I touched the screen
Did I read that? You continue to read them, right, sir?
horribly.
No, it's okay.
Reflecting a different time than when they were actually sent.
Objection foundation calls for speculation.
You agree with that, right?
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Right after, I won't give you anything to argue with me yet. You sustained an injury.
Where she could be.
Check it out.
Johnny, in case you weren't aware, you just hit me. Yeah, the issue was when we came out with the psychological diagnosis of not only borderline personality disorder, but also histrionic personality disorder, I knew it was all over for Amber Heard. She literally feels everything at max, and also she has to make everything dramatic. Hence the histrionic personality disorder.
Sorry? Thank you, Mr. Rottenborn.
A recording where Miss told you that you vomit in your sleep a lot. Do you remember that recording?
Yes, I do.
What's your response to that?
When someone tells you that you vomit, she didn't tell me. I heard it in court. I think the first thing that I would do is seek medical attention.
Yeah, I remember this part. Because it was like, yeah, why are you apparently allegedly filming this person who's vomiting in their sleep, something that would absolutely require medical attention, and you're choosing to film it, allegedly, as opposed to, seeking medical attention.
Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Mr. Depp, if you could please take a look at the stack of articles in front of you.
Yes, it's a stack of hits.
Chat. They just hit me. You hit me.
The first one is
Generated
called
by Ms. Heard's publicity team.
We're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. Correct?
That's what it says, yes, sir.
It's entitled Johnny Depp. Friends and family seriously concerned about him. Here's why.
Yes, how did they know?
The next article, did I read that right?
You did, reportedly. This is a pathetic attempt.
You know what was so weird? And no, look, Johnny Depp is absolutely accurate here. This is a pathetic attempt. One of Amber Heard's and her fucking crack fucking pot lawyer team, they decided to call Johnny as a witness, and then they just decided to read tabloid articles. Like tabloid titles to him. That's all this is. You're reading the titles from tabloids as though this is supposed to do what is the point of this?
Mr. Depp, please just respond to the question I'm asking you.
What's your
next
question?
The next Johnny Depp's financial woes might sink the next Pirates of the Caribbean. Did I read that right?
You did. I don't know.
The next article,
woes would do
May
that.
20, did I read that right?
You read that very, very well.
Did I read that right?
You certainly did. This is hearsay.
June 20, 2018, 22nd, 2018. Did I read that correctly?
You did. Who's Alison Beauchamp?
You understood that she became associated with those same accusations that she made, correct? You've testified to that.
Well, she had a choice. I didn't.
You just touch it. It'll make a mark, so you don't have to touch the top. That's fine.
Do I touch something on menu here? No. Whitney, who calls me her spirit animal. Isaac, spirit animal. Hey, listen, I'm not feeling so hot, and I love you, but stop.
We walked out of the trailer at some point. My dog stepped on a bee.
When is Miss Heard's birthday?
Back and right, Pirates.
We can move on.
If you want to, just read.
So I can read it out of someone's article, but not from the man's mouth. Was given was to not to fight.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right.
I think it's a pretty simple yes or no question.
You'd like it to be, sir. Nothing simple in this case. October is 2 months before December. That's correct.
If Disney came to you with $300 million and a million alpacas, nothing
so the
on this
defense is
earth
just
would get
highlighting the damage Heard caused him, in a way. But so I think what happened, I think the goal was to show that Johnny Depp's reputation was already a point of concern and already tarnished beyond the level that Amber Heard could damage it any further. I think that's the approach he was going for, but it hit me much more like what you're saying, where they're just highlighting the damage Heard caused them. That's, in my opinion, you're more correct than what I think they were trying for, and it just didn't land.
you to go back and work with Disney, correct?
That is true, Mr. Rottenborn.
This was a document that you signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yes.
Mr. Depp, that is your signature on the right, correct?
Yes, it is.
This is a document you signed, right?
Objection asked and answered. Do you have nothing? There's like, you asked me 3 times. If I've signed this document, I'm telling you I did. And there's a reason. There's a reason Depp's lawyers did not object to this, because honestly, it makes Heard's lawyers look incompetent.
For the 3rd time, that is my signature, yes. Sir.
And that was a document you signed in August of 2016.
Is that the same one that I signed 3 times before? So what you would like for him to cook? That's hearsay, I guess. I'm learning. Yes, I looked at papers. Maybe they're hearsay papers.
And then she writes, my throat is
Maybe they're
yours.
hearsay papers.
You're going to be the death of me, but I don't care.
Girl, shut the fuck up. Then you went in the house and saw Mr. Depp in the foyer, correct? Yeah. Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
I loved him so much.
Well, what? So many faces. Did you see how many? Let's just. I'm gonna frame by frame this just real quick. Look at that. That is scorn or contempt. Oh yeah. Okay. Hold on. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Look at how many shifts. Okay, hold on. Okay. Wow. My God. That's a lot. Okay. As she's explaining, there's one. She's just. There's 2. There's 3. She's talking. There's 4. You love her so much. You love him so. Look at that. That's the face that only a mother could love.
Treating physician for Mr. Depp, and then later for Miss Heard.
Dr. Bonnie Jacobs was Miss
That
Heard's
is that one
therapist, and
spirit.
may
You're
I refresh
talking
my
about
recollection
Ko
with my
the
notes?
face stealer. I hate that I know who it is, but you're talking about Ko the face stealer, Sabertop.
Your Honor,
She's allowed to
for the
consult the
dates,
notes.
if you'd like me to tell the dates.
If she's asking me a question, I'm not gonna answer.
You're right, Your Honor. Yes.
May I?
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, sidebar. Chloe turns around. Yeah,
After
no,
all
yeah.
that month of not seeing each other, not getting better, not getting clean and sober, there wasn't even, I didn't, you know, it was falling apart. I knew I had to leave him. I knew I wouldn't.
Oh my god.
I knew I wouldn't
She's
survive
a
it.
mess.
Another day. Why did you file for divorce?
Because I knew if I didn't, I'd likely not literally survive.
You cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real? No, you for fake. No, you for real.
Are you literally for real?
You lying.
I wouldn't have done anything, but I couldn't do that one thing. I couldn't stay. The promise and the hope that I had become less and less regular and more rare. The monster had been this thing that was now the normal and not the exception. The violence was now normal and not the exception. It was so hard. It was so hard, but I knew I had to do it. Anyway, I believe he would have taken it too far. I wouldn't be here.
Why did you ask for a domestic violence temporary restraining order?
I wanted to change my locks.
Thank you so much, Big Buddhist, for the vibe. I love how the judge never says anything to him about the hearsay quibs. The judge ran out of F's before him. No, for real.
Bruh.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're good now. I was wanting to see in court. That one's not out of court moment, so you know. Okay though. That is actually going to do it for us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell as hard as you possibly can, and don't forget, in 30 minutes we are going to be live back on YouTube with Mama Oko, and we're going to be reacting to episode 8 again of The Amazing Digital Circus, as well as episode 9. So I hope to see you all in about 30 minutes. And yeah, you guys all have a good one.